All right, good evening. Tonight, the first order of business is to seat the new Concord-Carlisle Regional School Committee, to elect its officers and discuss other necessary appointments. After a call to order of the committee is made, I will request that the chair of the Concord School Committee, which we haven't done yet either. We're a little out of order this year, we know that. For the seating of the Concord-Carlisle School Committee and for the election of officers for the Concord-Carlisle School Committee and the Concord School Committee. Other appointments can be made at that time if the committees have worked out assignments. So let's first seat the Concord-Carlisle School Committee. So a motion will need to be made. A motion will need to be made to, I'll just read it and then someone can move it. Recognize Andrew Herchek, Drew Magliozzi, Sandeep Pisharati, Tracy Morano, Michael Williams as Concord members, and Brian Watterson and Lynette Kelleher as Carlisle members of the Concord-Carlisle School Committee.
So moved. Second.
Congrats to Brian and Lynette for winning your election. Sorry.
Brian, congrats to the question.
All in favor?
Aye.
So now nominations will be accepted and voted on for the chair of the Concord-Carlisle School Committee.
I move to elect Brian Watterson as chair of the Concord-Carlisle School Committee. Second.
I wanted to say I spent a lot of time on the campaign trail recently, and particularly in Concord, not in Carlisle, I must admit. And one thing stands out that there are some real challenges that we need to address: social bias, closing achievement gaps, emerging technology in schools, and I think we need to hold space for some really difficult conversations that call our community in. And therefore, I move to nominate Michael Williams for chair.
Second.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. I think you have three qualities that make you an ideal leader. I think you have the time to do this. I think you have the commitment to create space for people to actually listen. And most importantly, I think you have the skill to bring focus and depth to the conversations we need to have. I don't think there are any quick fixes, and these are not conversations most of us even want to have, but I think we really need to have them. So thank you.
Thank you, Drew. I think that's very important because in the past year and some months that I've been sitting here watching school committee meetings, Michael's the only person who hasn't repeatedly voted against equity on policy as it has come up. And I think it's very important for everybody at this table to consider equity when these policies are being voted on. It's not simply about just Concord residents or Carlisle residents. These achievement gaps have existed year after year after year, and we have to see why, and we have to look at instituting framework to address these issues, because they're not gonna just go away if we don't make change, and the change is clearly needed, because the numbers are going in the wrong direction.
So I've nominated Brian tonight. Brian has served as chair of the Carlisle School Committee for 2 years and the vice chair of the Regional School Committee for this past year. Brian and I worked really closely together on a bunch of projects. He represented the region on the Financial Audit Committee. I think that his experience with negotiations and chairing meetings is gonna be great for the region.
Can I speak for myself?
Go ahead. There's no chair right now, so it's
I guess
really
I'm
awkward.
running.
Yeah.
Yes, you're the
So,
chair,
sure.
Lori.
I was drawn to my work on the school committee through my efforts to advocate for those whose voices have not always been heard and whose needs have not always been met. I've worked through the year to support educational excellence by focusing on meeting our students where they are and giving them the tools they need to succeed. By focusing on making our good schools better through honestly acknowledging our proficiency gaps and student achievement and advocating for policies and procedures that work to close those gaps. And by leading through thoughtful planning, open communication, and honest two-way engagement with all facets of our Concord community. As we struggle with the challenge of anti-Semitism, bias, and racism, I press for supporting those aggrieved in our community and educating those who have created harm. I've stood with citizens from Concord, Carlisle, Austin, and our surrounding communities in support of our Jewish friends and neighbors. Whether it was the amenities building, the release of academic achievement data, cell phone policy, or our community's concern about tech advisory needs, I pressed for our committee to have a better, cleaner process and honest and open engagement with our community with clarity of thought and openness to honest feedback. I work with our committee to bring commitment to address bias, hate, and anti-Semitism into our committee's goals. Last September, Andrew, you noted, for the first time in recent memory, I pushed to establish specific, measurable, actionable, result-oriented, and trackable metrics in our committee's assessment of our superintendent's goals. I'm well connected to our community and to our town government. I've built strong relationships with select board members, the land use working group, the MCI vision and master planning teams, municipal bodies whose work product will directly influence our schools. I actively support the bias and hate incident reporting work group that Sandeep sits on. And I worked with others to have Carlos Hoyt give us informed testimony to that body, testimony that profoundly affected the work group and the select board's deliberation on incident reporting in our community. This year, Michelle McDougall and I argued for more public clarity in tracking academic proficiency in all of our student subgroups as a matter of educational equity. Aisha Lawton, Michelle McDougall, and I, at several points during the past year, pressed for more inclusive and respectful tone in our committee's deliberation, particularly considering issues of bias, hate, anti-Semitism, and race. Through our combined efforts, a Medco update and a bias hate incident reporting work group update has regularly been placed in our committee's meetings agenda so that our conversations on these matters is public and visible to the community that we serve. I was humbled and honored to be nominated by 13th Middlesex State Representative Carmine Gentile and recognized by the Massachusetts Black and Latino Legislative Caucus as a change maker and exemplar of Black excellence on the Hill. You know, as Drew stated, we are in a unique and challenging time in our community as we work to demonstrate that everyone is welcome in our community, that every student has the right to thrive in this space, and that everyone has a place at the table. For these reasons, I feel I'm uniquely qualified to stand for chair of the Concord-Carlisle Regional School District. Thanks.
Alright, so I'm gonna be procedural here a little bit, because you have two motions on the table, which isn't how it's supposed to be.
Oh, apologies.
No,
I didn't know that.
Anyway, I don't usually check. This is why. So I think we have to do the first motion first, or amend it and not have two motions. Those of you with more.
Robert's rules experience,
Yes.
I think we've dealt with the first motion first.
Okay. Everybody okay?
I'm not sure I fully follow. Do
You
mind?
shouldn't have two motions on the table.
Ah,
You
oh, I thought
would-
you would nominate people and you would choose.
Yeah,
but
it's because we did formal motions and not just nominations.
I see.
So the first one was a formal motion that was already seconded. So in the discussion phase, you can't put another motion in.
I see.
You should amend the first one.
Yes, I move to amend it. And Michael, I guess you would,
I'll stand by what I said. I'll second.
thank you,
Alright, so now we're gonna vote on the amendment.
which is two people or,
No, now
which
the
is-
amendment
which
is Michael
my
as
motion.
chair,
oh,
right?
Yes, and then we'll vote on that,
I see.
and if that passes, then Michael's the chair, and if it fails, we go back to the original motion.
Right.
We have to get our town meeting like heads on, right?
Oh, that's interesting, I see, more like town meeting.
Yep.
There's one question I had about Brian, Brian, I'm just curious, are you also the chair of the Carlisle? No,
Not as of today.
okay, I was curious who
So I
was
was
the
the chair for
chair,
the past year.
yeah,
And I said to the Carlisle School Committee at our last meeting, I will either chair Carlisle or I'll go to the region.
Got it.
I'm not doing both again,
Okay.
so we have a new chair now in Carlisle.
got it, that's what I was
They
wondering.
just seated today.
We just-
Yeah, that's why I was like, I was
Yeah.
wondering what.
And I will say there'll be a little gray area for the next couple of weeks, just as we wrap up, or hopefully wrap up the superintendent search, because I was leading the charge on that, so I will chair a couple of those meetings just to get them across the finish line, but
Got it.
we do have a new chair.
Okay, great, thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, so the vote is if you support the amendment, which nominated Michael as chair. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay, okay, so that amendment failed. So now we're gonna go back to the original motion, which is the vote for Brian to be chair. right?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'll abstain.
Yeah, I'm gonna abstain. I'm not opposed. I think you're a wonderful person. I think you'll do a great job. So thank you for being willing to do it.
So
Motion passes, so
motion
Are we
passes.
switching now?
We're
Brian's
switching.
gonna be chair, thank
Yes.
goodness now, so I don't
Yeah.
have to do that.
Switch spots. It's always like the awkward like switching up the spots. Well, that's just switching back. I'm sorry.
Brian, in a really odd moment, as Carlisle member, you get to see the Concord School Committee chair.
Can we do the chair or
Better
the
you
vice
than me.
chair?
I am very happy
Do you
to
wanna
do
do
that, but I
vice
think
chair
first we're gonna
first?
do, so first, nominations have been accepted and voted for the vice chair of the Concord-Carlisle School Committee.
I move to nominate Michael. Repeat what I just said. Ditto for what I just said.
Alright, is there a second?
Second.
Alright, so we have Michael for vice chair of Concord-Carlisle School Committee. Is there,
This time we debate it.
Amend that.
You wanna amend it?
okay,
I'd like to nominate Tracy to be vice chair for the region.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
So, any discussion on the amendment?
Nominator, I'll say a few words. You've led the region for the last year. I think you've done an incredible job leading it as you're the one I look to for all procedural kind of information. You've gone to all of the chairs breakfast, chairs meetings, bring a lot of institutional knowledge, which I think is extremely important to retain on the leadership council for committees.
Any other discussion?
I have some, I too am deeply appreciative of everything you bring, Tracy. You're an amazing leader and you've really helped me get a footing. I'm still getting it, quite honestly, on the committee. So thank you. And you helped fix my email. I wonder, you said you're not planning to run again next year, so this is your final year. My understanding is the vice chair is sort of like the understudy would move into the chair role in the subsequent year. Is that not, I thought that's what you said about Brian.
Well, we have elections every year, so
But you
we
mentioned when
switch
you-
every year.
Sorry, when you nominated Brian, I thought you just said like he was the vice chair, so he was.
So he's ready to take on. the
He's
role.
ready. So I worry that with no vice chair, who would be ready next year to do the job is my own fear and concern about having you do it again. Not that you wouldn't do an extraordinary job, but that's my only concern.
I think the one thing I would say to that though is you also have the Concord chair and the Concord vice chair who, are also getting that hands-on experience as well.
I see.
I think some boards have that as a formal process. I've seen other boards where it's actually the other way around. Whoever's chair then, the next chair
Oh,
goes
then
down.
they get
I think it
moved
really
down.
varies board to board.
I see.
In Carlisle, there's no rhyme or reason, I will say. Okay, so we have an amendment for Tracy. Is there any other discussion? Alright, so all in favor of the amendment for Tracy to be chair, say aye.
Vice chair.
Sorry, vice chair.
Good try.
Just gonna surprise you there. No, sorry, vice chair. I'm so sorry. For the amendment for Tracy to be vice chair, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed?
Nay.
Now, a procedure question, so the amendment passed, we then vote it again
No,
as
the
the amendment,
amendment,
or,
that stands.
okay. Thank you. Moving on, we will now do election of officers for the Concord School Committee, and we'll start with the nominations for the chair of the Concord School Committee.
So I'd like to nominate Sandeep to serve as chair of the Concord Public Schools. Over his first year on the committee, he has brought a thoughtful and collaborative approach to the work that we do. He has been highly engaged across our committees and liaison assignments and has developed a very strong understanding of our budget, negotiation process, and the broader district processes and has consistently approached issues with both preparation and perspective. He also recently stepped in to chair for me in my absence a couple weeks ago, and I think you did a really good job of leading that meeting. I watched it afterwards. His ability to work collaboratively with our town partners, combined with the clear understanding of our school committee's responsibilities, will serve the committee and the district well. I'm confident that he will do an excellent job setting our agendas, guiding our work, and leading us on the Concord School Committee. I'm grateful for your willingness to serve if you are, and I'm pleased to nominate you as chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Alright, any discussion?
I move to amend and nominate Michael. I think I know how it's gonna go, but I feel like I have to. He's a wonderful leader, and I think, no offense, Cindy, but I think Michael has a little bit more of what we need right now. But I know you'll do an excellent job if elected. But I stand by what I said before.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay,
I think we can move right to the
any
vote.
discussion on the amendment?
Michael, do you wanna say any words or?
Again, I think I said everything at the outset, and again, I would just say this is a unique time. And it takes challenge for us to be able to look around and make certain that we're making it clear that everyone is welcome in the community, that everyone has an opportunity to thrive, and that everyone has a place at the table. And I think that speaks for itself.
Any other discussion? Otherwise, I will, just a reminder, Lynette and I cannot vote
No, you
on
can't
this,
vote,
so just to make sure everyone's clear, but so we're now voting on the amendment for Michael to chair Concord. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Excuse me. Nay.
Okay, so the amendment did not pass, so we're back to the original motion for Sandeep. Any final discussion?
Can I say a couple of words?
Of course.
So, like everyone at this table, I have a story that shapes how I see the world. And those experiences give me a particular lens on what it feels like to be included and what it feels like to earn trust rather than just to assume it. I don't really fit neatly into any box, and I think that's an asset. I've had conversations with folks across this table, folks with many community members, and I've listened. Many of those conversations were not easy, they were difficult. But I haven't let those conversations push away what I hold as my core belief, which is that we have a school system that we can be genuinely proud of. And precisely because we're proud of it, we should continue to hold it to an extremely high standard. And I believe in being, in the words of Dr. Carlos Hoyt, a critical friend. Honest, rigorous, and always acting in the interests of our schools and our students. I've put in the work, as Andrew pointed out, I've been on the financial audit committee, the bias and cadence reporting working group, the bargaining table. I've shown up prepared. I have supported our collective decisions, and I do the unglamorous work that's required for it to be a successful committee. So that's not just a promise, it's a track record of what I've done in the last year. Whoever the committee chooses, I'm committed to continuing that kind of work.
Alright, thank you. Any other discussion? Alright, then all in favor of Sandeep as chair of the Concord School Committee?
Aye.
I'm gonna vote aye too.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain. Alright. Now nominations will be accepted and voted for vice chair of the Concord School Committee.
Can I make it 4 for 4? I move to nominate Michael Williams.
Is there a second?
Second.
Alright, any discussion?
I'll amend that.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Andrew for vice chair.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me say a couple of words. So Andrew is one of the hardest working members of the committee, much of it behind the scenes. It's like a duck. A lot of the work, does happen behind the scenes. Over the past year, I believe he's demonstrated real leadership on the committee, navigated us through a difficult summer, engaged with other committees around town. But what stood out to me most is something relatively small. If you look at your agenda, item 4A was added to the agenda to make sure that our Medco representatives are not just have seats at the table, but have voice. Adding that to the agenda, I think, is a small thing, but that initiative reflects someone who thinks about whose voice is being heard and whose is not. What I value most about you is that you consistently seek out perspectives that are different from yours before forming a position. That's a quality I don't take for granted. We've disagreed a lot, and I think that makes us a stronger team for the rest of the committee to lead.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Alright, so we are voting on the amendment for Andrew to be vice chair of the Concord School Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Nay.
Alright, carries 3-2, so the amendment passes. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Sandeep. Now moving on to the appointment of the school committee recording secretary.
I move to appoint Erin Higgins as recording secretary.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstain?
Thank you to her for doing all that work. She sat
Indeed.
behind the scenes.
Also, need the appointment of a treasurer.
I move to appoint Allison Brake as the treasurer of the Concord-Carlisle Regional School District.
Is there a second?
Second.
Perfect,
Not easy now.
Letizi.
thank you. Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. And then I think the last order on here is just liaison assignments. Tracy sent around the liaison assignments earlier today. We will work towards making those appointments at our meeting on June 16th. What I would just ask is if there are particular assignments that you're interested in, if you could just let me know by next Friday, June 12th. That will give me the weekend before we meet to just review and compile. Can I just ask?
Be at that meeting, Brian, is that a problem?
It shouldn't be, no, if you wanna just give me
I'll be
feedback before,
voluntold.
yeah.
I'm already imagining your waste management liaison.
And Brian,
But yes, if there are any that you're particularly interested in,
I will let you
please
know.
let me know,
Oh, sure.
or I guess very much uninterested in. Sorry, Michael, what's the question?
just the date, the 16th.
Yeah,
The school-
Actually, no, when did you want it by?
If I can just get your
12th.
interest by Friday the 12th, so that I can have
Okay.
the weekend to review it. Are there any current assignments where people know for sure that they do not want to continue?
Lynette's one.
No.
No, not in a negative way, I just have a constant schedule conflict making it to the CEAC, the Concord-Carlisle Adult
Concord-Carlisle
Education.
Adult.
I've had like such a hard time getting to the meetings at the time, so I just don't think I was being a very good liaison to them.
Okay,
So that's all, it's not negative. It's usually noon on Fridays and I just happen to have a work meeting that often pops up at the same Friday. So I haven't been to many,
okay, that's good to know. Are there any
Yeah.
others?
that's
By the way, I would gladly do that one if you're.
there
Okay,
is-
I'll make a
great,
note
I
of
mean,
that.
Great, it's very informative, it's just the time for me, that's the only thing.
The only other thing is the CMS building committee has 2 more meetings, including one tomorrow. So we can fill it, there's 2 people on it, but it's going away pretty soon.
Are you suggesting just continue with the current members till it's done?
I mean, we can talk about, we're literally approving a couple more change orders on sprinklers and then we're done. So
Okay,
we can remove it.
And an additional liaison to this list, the Maisie O'Donnell Diving Center liaison, I would like to continue with that.
and that's a net new one.
Yes.
And I'd like
That's
to-
on the list.
That's on the list.
I'd like to continue with the DEI commission.
Okay, and again, if you can also just, I'm making notes of these, but yeah, if everyone just wants to
Yeah,
send them
we
through.
can
One other one, Financial Audit Advisory Committee, I've been on it for 2 years at this point. And while I'm happy to do it, I'm very conscious as a Carlisle resident where we're talking about the regional school district, which I have a stake in, the town finances, which no offense, but I've got less mistaken, and then municipal light probably even less there. I'm gonna suggest that it is somebody in Concord who takes that up going forward.
And we have had one person from the Concord committee do both. I actually think it's coordinated.
Okay.
So maybe do you want me to check with Wendy and see if that's
I can check with
allowable?
her.
Want to check with her?
Yeah, and what Tracy means is we have a representative from the Concord School Committee and we have a representative from the Concord-Carlisle School Committee.
I
So
see.
the question is, does it have to be two distinct people?
I see.
Two
One
distinct
person
people
to
to
be-
just one person.
Okay.
So I would just check with Wendy.
Yep, I'll check with her. Alright, any other questions on liaison assignments? Alright, moving along then, the next thing we have is recognitions. I know the agenda says 6:30. Are we in a position to move forward?
Are all the Sunrise kids here? Great, they're here.
Alright, would the Sunrise Club like to come forward up to the table?
Yeah, come on up. As they're coming up, I'll just set the stage. So the High School Sunrise Club, as some of you know, sponsored a warrant article, among all the other things that they did this year, at Concord Town Meeting
Have a
about composting.
Here's
Yeah, we'll get you chairs so you can sit here at the table.
Yeah.
About composting and making that more accessible. So we asked them to come talk with you. They have some slides that I'm gonna pull up here as I go. Why don't you start by introducing yourselves and I'll get your slides ready.
Hi everyone, my name's Ileana. I'm the leader of club.
My name's Teresa.
My name's Zoe, I'm a co-leader.
My name's Evan.
Welcome.
Welcome, yeah.
So this is the best I can do with your slides. I'm sorry I can't get them all the way in presentation mode, but I think you'll still be able to go ahead.
Perfect. So we first began working on this about a year ago. Shelley Carlin first came to us with the idea of creating a composting warrant article. We've worked on it since. We've gone to a lot of different committees.
We've worked with organizations like Mothers Out Front and the Concord Climate Action Committee to get support and feedback on the article. And we attended select board meetings and the town meeting where we eventually got the article passed.
In addition to attending all these meetings, we've done outreach like around the town and in the school. So we've handed out flyers to students, like we had a bake sale where we handed out flyers, and we've also done outreach over social media.
And then, so our initial motion was changed after a lot of the research we've done and through all the feedback that we've gotten from different committees. Our final motion was basically urging the select board to request that the town manager investigate and report to the board on the feasibility of adopting and offering a town-wide ratepayer composting program. Essentially, we asked the town to do research in regards to composting. It was the result of a lot of research done by Shelley Carlin and everyone in the club. So it was really great to be able to present there. The next slide, please.
At town meeting, we received a lot of support from many of the groups that we got support from, and I felt a lot of support speaking at town meeting, and there's many other informed citizens who are willing to support us, so that was really helpful.
So
Jump through all the process in the middle of that.
yeah, and so we passed by 205 to 35, and we made it through the Concord Public Works offering a substitute motion. So our original motion passed, which is great, and it was really amazing.
I have to say I was quite impressed with the work that you presented that evening at town meeting. I'm so glad to see you here. I applaud you all for the work that you've done. Question, were you able to work with FinCom to look at the prospective financial impact?
Oh, financial committee?
Yes.
I believe they reached out. We're still, it's been really busy just because final season, all that. We're hoping
Understood.
to definitely work with them over hopefully before the school year ends, but if not, we're definitely gonna reach out back when fall starts.
Thank you for your effort, and it was a job incredibly well done.
it was certainly not easy either. It was a fierce debate. You maintained your poise, it was remarkable. I wonder, hopefully this is an inspiration to other students and schools to bring articles to town meeting as well. I'm curious if you've heard of anything that might bubble up to meet the same bar that would come to the town, because it's great to have citizens, even who can't vote, to participate.
Yeah, for sure. I know there are so many clubs at CCHS, it's hard to keep track of who's planning what, but I'm really hoping that if anyone else has an idea about something that they could present at town meeting that happens, because it's a great way to get the town involved and to raise awareness about something you're working on.
I know Simon Catala was out 2 weeks ago and met with 2 clubs while he was there, so there's a lot of activity going on all the time. And I just wanna be sure Becky Meeks is the advisor, and we wanna make sure she gets a round of appreciation for all the time and work she put in as well.
Couldn't have done it without Ms. Meeks and Chili Carlin and everyone else who helped. It was most definitely a team effort.
Yes.
I mean, fantastic, as someone who, brought anything forward to town meeting, I know how much effort is involved.
We can relate better than most.
But I'm just curious, with this sort of behind you, thoughts on goals for next year, or other things that you're hoping to work on?
We're really just hoping to build on this momentum. To be honest, we're a pretty small club, so we're hoping to get more members and bring in more people to do more stuff. We have this year we also worked on the Mass Energize Youth Climate Solutions Project. Ali Shepherd, she isn't here today, but she sort of headed that. So we're hoping to make our impact even bigger with that this year. It's basically just a energy solution that you spread throughout the community. So we're hoping to use that to make it a really big impact.
Wonderful.
That's great. Well, as someone who's also been up at town meeting, when standing up in front of the microphone, you were totally poised and a complete professional, and really, I mean, you should be really proud of yourself. And you're off to college next year? Yes, so I mean, you have.
Junior.
She's a junior.
Oh, a junior,
Yeah, she's
so,
a junior.
okay, I was thinking you were a senior, I was like,
No.
wow, you're ready. So it was just really great to see our students really using their voices in front of the town and for the whole town to hear what you guys have done this year. So well done.
Thank you, and everyone in the club was really did like all the work. I was just like the spokesperson, so.
Wonderful.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming.
Last question, is there any advice you would give to somebody else who is going to do this as well? What is the number one piece of advice you would give somebody if they were walking behind you?
In terms of just presenting at this town meeting as a student,
Yes.
I think the biggest piece of feedback is it's gonna be a lot of work and you're gonna have to like do a lot of meeting with different people, but it's definitely worth it because there's going to be people who will, in groups, who will have a lot of support for it, even though there's gonna be most definitely setbacks. So just get to town, get through all of the meetings, all of the research and like setbacks, and then get to town meeting and it's gonna be great, so yeah.
Amazing.
All right,
Thank you.
well, thank you so much for coming out this evening, definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Have a great night.
All right, and next we'd like to welcome the Concord Education Fund to come up.
So before we get to that,
Yes.
given our position on the board of the Earth Fund, I'm responsible for discussion on this topic.
Thank you for that. Do you need one more chair?
We can grab one more.
Big check. Fun.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. I don't know if everybody knows who we are. We're Concord Education Fund. We raise money to help support the teachers and the students in funding new and innovative pilot programs and other things. We accept grants, applications from teachers at the school and do a lot of hard work in raising the money and then assessing the grants and giving them out. And so this year we had a great grant season. We received 31 grant applications, which is a record for us. It was great. Unfortunately, we were only able to fund 17 of them. But fundraising is a little down across the board, I guess. But we ended up granting just under $65,000. We have a nice big check for it. And it ranged in, there are a few buckets that it kind of fell into. There's mental health, special education, technology, some of the it was over all the different schools, CCHS, CMS, all of the elementary schools, and Ripley CIP as well as the anchor program we were supporting. So that was great to get applications from them. Try to support the entire school system as best we can. A couple of the highlights are we funded a Soothe 5 pilot program that will help the kids, students at CMS while they're doing research online and guiding them to good sources of news and information. It's a good one. There's AAC classroom support where we're helping the severely disabled kids communicate with other teachers and kids in supplying them with technology that will help them do that. We're bringing in a sports psychologist for student athletes. The mental health I think is a huge issue.
And nutritionist.
And nutritionists,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, and nutritionists. And then we're helping support the CIP gym equipment so they can get exercise when it's tough to get outside when the weather's bad. So getting them active in the gym is great. So just a couple of highlights. I'll keep it brief. I know you have a long agenda, but I just wanted to say thank you for all of your hard work and dedication and we're trying to do our little part, but it's great.
Yes, thank you very much, Maura.
And my apologies, I should have introduced everyone. Greg Legault, Liz Colgan, Julia Elliott, Linda Ferrari, all members of the Concord Ed Fund Board. It's been around since 1993, so thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you indeed.
Does anyone have any questions at all?
I was gonna say, yes, we will do a photo. We also will vote to
Yes,
accept.
we're gonna,
We don't
sometimes
wanna
we forget to vote to accept.
we will do that as well, but did anyone have any questions, any comments?
I just wanna thank them because I do meet with them along the way and I got to see all the grants and it's a lot of work and really hard decision making to vet who to fund and who not to. So we always try to, as a district, at least pass along to the principals the ideas and see what we can do to keep those percolating and make sure that everyone feels like they're really valued in the applications that they put in. But the combined fundraising efforts and then the vetting of the applications is an enormous amount of time, and we're always grateful for all that CEF does for us. They do so much on a constant level, and they're there if we pick up the phone on a dime because something unexpected happened, and that's been the case for all the years. So just a really important part of the school life around here.
This year was especially challenging because as Greg said, we had so many amazing grants, but we had to really go back and be like, okay, was this innovative?
Yes.
Is this, so we had to really sort of think about it because you want to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, and then we over 3 different meetings had to be, all right, let's go back to that and see. And as Greg also said, fundraising has been slowing down, so we need to sort of think about more innovative ways of bringing in money, so we can do that.
What are the primary means of fundraising? What are the primary means of fundraising at the moment?
So in the past, we've done a sort of large event, kind of like gala. I feel like COVID, not as many people are wanting to, attend big events, so that's one piece. I mean, we still like to do that just more for, people's, awareness of what we're doing. A big, sort of two big things that we do is it's called Operation Celebration or Operation Graduation, where we have delivered balloons to the seniors. And an individual card to the seniors, so people will buy a balloon and a card. This year we started Operation Graduation, where we're doing signs for the 5th graders and the 8th graders. And that has been, this year was our biggest fundraiser between the two.
Those are great, those are awesome.
It's been really fun, and it was sort of a brainchild. The celebration was a while ago, but this year was sort of a brainchild between two of our members, and they've, it's just taken off. And it's fun to go around town and see all the different, Willard and Thoreau and Alcott and the middle school, so that's lovely. And then we do a raffle because there's a Concord Ed Fund parking spot. And who was a junior or a senior, they know how that's a hot commodity. So that's a big one. So that, and then, we've got we're talking about doing an annual appeal. And as I said, we do this event. So, and then sponsors have also been a big piece too, but that's also sort of been trending downwards. So we're always open to new and innovative ideas.
Do you do look backs on your grants and see just like at a high level, like efficacy, like how they were worded, were they successful, and does that guide, your future like granting?
A bit. We try to get as much feedback as we can from the teachers, and make sure that if the money was used and the program went forward, and then if it's successful, we try to make sure they're talking to their principals and Lori to sort of pick that up as an ongoing thing if it's appropriate.
But we did talk about that as an opportunity as a board, that's something, that kind of feedback loop is something that we could improve. We did get an email from Thoreau, the librarian at Thoreau, about the Thoreau Family Book Club and the impact that has made for the Thoreau School. So we really appreciate when they come back to us and acknowledge, what we were able to enable for them. But I do think that feedback loop is one we can improve.
And we do let them know in their grant that, like, if it's a sort of pilot, that this is what we're funding the pilot, but hopefully it will be such a huge success and it will be sort of taken, but we can't continue to fund each year if we can't do it next year.
Yeah, it's really hard, cause like what does success look like in grants? Is it like, it's hard to measure.
Yes. Well, and I think that the goal is always new and innovative programming, and so some of the things from way long ago, the engineering certificate came out of the Ed Fund.
Oh, wow.
Rivers and Revolution started at the Ed Fund.
STEAM Lab.
STEAM
The list is
Lab over
pretty
here at
long.
Ripley. So there were really larger scale projects, and then I did see the weather balloon at the high school, and that was originally it was an Ed Fund grant that they've brought back again, and that's just such a cool project where you can track where the balloon is going. They lost the balloon that year, so the Ed Fund might have found it, but then they found it and it was like, where's the balloon? And it was all over Facebook like, who's seen the balloon?
It's Concord Ed Fund.
It's really, we really are grateful for your partnership and for the dollars that come back to the district for things that we could not fund within the school budget. So we really appreciate that and wish you best of luck in your fundraising too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So what I would like to do is let's vote to accept first so we don't forget, and then move over there. So I will entertain a motion to accept the generous $64,732 donation from CEF.
So moved.
Second,
All right, any other discussion?
and this is for both districts.
Yes.
Yes.
All out. All right, all in favor?
Aye for
Aye
both.
for Region?
Aye for both.
Everybody? And abstain, thank you for the reminder. All right, let's do a photo. Thank you.
When is the application?
I know,
Yeah,
I
like-
should have done the first.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
It's
Check it.
We'll circle around.
Yeah, alright, alright, we'll give you a- I know, sorry, I'm not.
I'm
Very awkward. No, that's right.
Really awkward.
That's it, yeah, okay. Take a couple. Got it.
Thank you.
May I?
Yes, please.
It's part of my office decor.
Oh, that's
Okay,
fine.
they're all out.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, they're stacked, but we can do better than that. Sorry, I just need to put this.
Alright, we'll move on next to superintendent and chair's update as well as Metco update. Dr. Hunter, do you wanna go first?
Sure. I'm gonna be very big picture and just mention a couple of very large scale topics. We graduated the class of 2026 on Saturday. It was phenomenal despite the weather. Being inside has this intimacy, and that's the pro. The con is not everybody in the family is in the room. But really just a phenomenal morning, speakers, the students. I think it was just another really special morning, and thanks, Brian and Katie are here, so I'll just shout them out. It's a ton of work to put all of that together, and it was very successful. And a couple of our graduates, or at least Evelyn's here, I don't know if Maddie came in, but we actually have firsthand experience to hear in a few minutes. Also, I just wanted to mention that Q5 is coming up at the high school. And I wanna be sure all of you know what that means, because some of you are newer members. From June 12th to the 17th, there will be 4 days where we literally transform the high school into an experiential learning experience for students led by their teachers. So months ago, they got a catalog of options, teachers propose workshops of what they want to. It's incredibly eclectic, which makes it amazing. And they're leading things they're passionate about. Students are signing up for things they're passionate about. Many of them are off campus. We were at the bus depot today with the drivers, and they had to move their end of year celebration back because so many of them are gonna be driving next week for Q5. They couldn't do it next week. It's just a really special time. We had reinvented it last year. It had faded away in COVID and took us a few years to get it back, and I think we all were a little afraid it might not come back, and last year it came back roaring. So we're just really excited. I don't think there's many places anywhere that can say they transform an entire high school into this sort of learning experience for all students, freshmen through juniors, for 4 full days. So we will be sure to report out, but it's a really exciting time for all of us to be anticipating it. The kids will do their finals. And what a gift, that's not how they end the year. They end the year doing Q5, which is a very different place to be as the year wraps up. So just wanted to be sure we anticipated that with you so we can talk more on it as it plays out.
Can I just say, as I was reviewing the warrant last night,
Yeah.
like seeing some of the goat yoga, miniature horses,
Yes.
Amazing race, it was just
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
to see some of the
Yeah,
creativity.
it does live in the bills right now.
Yep.
The things we're paying for. My final comments are really just to honor the retirees this year. We're celebrating them in many forums right now, and I just thought it was important to do that here. At the high school this year retiring, we have Bob Wilder, Andrea Gillis, and Mary McCabe. And I can't not mention Jill Tracy, who's been in the guidance office for almost 40 years. At Alcott, kindergarten teachers Colleen Desmond and Gail Shatlosh. At Thoreau, Wendy Murata and Jackie McKenna. At Willard, Hannah Matchius and Cheryl Brandwine. And Mr. Lucy, which some of you have already spent some time on. And we're excited for all of them. So lots of celebrations going on over the next 2 weeks, and just wanted to be sure we recognize them here. I've heard so many of the stories as they've started to be celebrated, and the impact these educators who spend their most or all of their careers with us is really hard to capture. Hopefully we send them off well, and their next phase of life is what they want it to be, and for them, and not for others in the same level that they've been doing for all of us. So those are my highlights for today.
Alright. I don't know that I have any chair updates in the last 50 minutes, but do you have anything?
I do have a couple things. There's a chair's breakfast, so that is Wednesday, 17th or sometime in that week. So that is Zoom only, but typically they do meet in person. And they just want the new chairs to know when it is and start going to it or send somebody in your place. And
What time is it?
so that's at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's usually I think it's the third Wednesday of the month. That was the first thing. At the select board meeting on Monday night, they put forth the town meeting calendar. Now, there were a few different dates that were discussed, and so I said I would bring it back to the school committee. There is now a Saturday preview meeting on January 9th. The tri-board meeting with FinCom, Select Board, and School Committee will be on January 11th. And we have a school committee meeting that week on January 13th. So I did voice my concern of having 3 meetings that week for us and the professionals involved. So I think that I would say to the chairs, if you could work with the chairs of the select board and kind of give some feedback back, that would be great. If anybody has any concerns on that, but I thought I'd just bring it to you guys.
And at very least, we can do it virtually, some of them.
Yes, you
Yeah.
probably can. But the tri-board is a little bit tricky because it's in
Yeah.
the hearing room.
Right.
And then lastly, graduation was just really amazing. Brian and Lynette joined me. And I mean, all the speeches, Lori did a speech, Katie and Brian had speeches. We heard from the class president, Sierra. I think the Senate moderator, Laylee. And it was just a really nice day to celebrate with all the families. I think that the rain was what it was, but you know what? I think they did a really great job. And big shout out to the junior parents who set up graduation, so that happens too. And all the custodial staff and All Night Live is happening at the same time. So it's really busy on the campus, and I think they just did a really great job. And just, personally, thank you to Concord and Concord-Carlisle Public Schools, because my kids have been here since 2005. And I've said it before, I think I've had almost 300 teachers and tutors and staff and everyone else, and it's really been a wonderful experience pre-K to 12. So thank you to all of you for everything you do, all of our principals, our administrators, our teachers. It's greatly appreciated. That's it.
No, I do love graduation, though I am 0 for 2 when it comes to the weather, so.
You've only been indoors,
Yeah, so rising seniors may wanna force me out of town. Are any updates on the Concord side?
Not since our last meeting.
Okay. Michelle, do you have any back update?
Sure, yeah, the Metco staff is organizing a semi-formal dinner for Saturday, and the kids are really excited to get dressed up this Saturday coming. And they're gonna give out some little awards to students and recognize the 5th graders going on to 6th grade, and all the kids are really excited for this event. Next Wednesday, the Metco family friends are doing an ice cream social after school at Alcott, with a late bus coming back, so the kids are also excited for that, cause as we bear down on the end of the year, everybody is just like, let's do fun things and be done with school. So, they're gearing up for that, and those are the two big events on the calendar coming up.
Alright, perfect, thank you.
Yep.
CCHS student update?
Mark and Emily.
Mark and Emily here, yep, you wanna come forward?
I don't see Maddie online.
No, I don't think she's here. She sends her apologies.
Alright, and I think this is our last update for the school year, which is really crazy, and I think we do talk about elections on our slides today. But yes, that's to come. Okay, I'm joining the Wi-Fi. It takes forever to do these. Okay, let's move that window to the side. There we go. Okay, so we wanted to start out talking about the CC musical, which was 9 to 5. I went to that. I had a few friends who were leads in the show, and that was really great to see them, their last show graduating. Most of them have been in all of these musicals and plays over the past 4 years. And that was just like spectacular because it was such challenging songs. I know a lot of teachers were there. I saw a lot of familiar faces, students, like the audience was packed. I think I went on a Saturday night And like there were no free seats. Like it was really great to see how sold out that was. And I mean, everyone did an incredible job. The leads, the ensemble, costuming. It was really great. And I know they have a new director this year, so it's just really exciting to see all that. And then also in that same kind of field of music, like being musical, I think there's a lot of overlap with the students. Is there is the Choral Pops concert. I did not attend, but I heard a lot of great things about that. It's really lovely to see how musical our student body is. And then we also had kind of there's a lot of like wrapping up things or finals and things. And so along that, we have this moot court finals, which I did moot court, but I was out one of the first rounds. But four of my friends made it to the finals. And so there's two teams. It was Brooke Hosford and Sierra Fonte on one team, and they just barely won over Elise McMorrow and Stephanie Nang, and that was so great too. I was about to attend, but it was really amazing because they have like actual judges there, and so a lot of them, all four of them, actually want to go into something with like law or government, and so to have that experience, like really real world, was lovely, and I think their case was really interesting. I think it was about like a cop and like some kind of like breaking in without or with a warrant, but like it was very interesting. So I did read it up, and then yeah, you want to talk about Spirit Week?
Yeah, are we on Spirit Week?
Yes.
Yeah, Spirit Week. I don't know that we really followed it this year. It's been hard to get people to follow it. But I know that they did like the freshman colors and like the sophomore colors. I like what a lot of like the younger kids still do Spirit Week. I feel like seniors were kind of like done. Juniors were
I think
kinda
it was
like
our last
I didn't
week,
even
yeah.
know
Yeah.
that there was a Spirit Week. Sorry.
But a lot of people did like there was like also like country versus country, so it was like country club, like country. That was a fun one. I did that one. But
Oh, and then also, I think I put this one down just a moment ago because I saw it from my friend. There was the annual high school art exhibition, which was really great because I saw that on Instagram. A few of my friends are like artists, and it was really amazing because they were able to put up their art and showcase what they've done this year, and then talk about it with other artists and their families. And I think that, even me, who I'm not like directly engaged with the art scene at CC, and that was just like amazing and mind blowing to see these people who I have like my psych class with, create this incredible self portrait, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know you had this whole extra skill set. So really cool to see that. I know there's also awards then. And then speaking of awards, we both attended the junior and the senior award nights, which, do you want to talk about that? You attended that, right?
yeah,
Yes.
I got the St. Lawrence University award. It's really nice to see everyone. It was also a surprise because you didn't know what award you were getting or who was gonna be there. So yeah, it was just a really good experience, and like I was really excited for my friend Vivi because her sister goes to Tulane and then she got the Tulane award, and I like saw her face like light up when she got it. So I mean, it was just so overall really nice experience.
And then senior awards, I remember last year being a junior, and then senior awards right after, and I just saw the amount of people going into that award ceremony. I was like, this is crazy. And so this year as a senior, I was able to see all that, and there are just so many people in the audience, and even people who aren't receiving awards, they're friends, they're there supporting their friends. And so you get like the engineering certificates are handed out, like Rho Kappa, which is the Social Studies Honor Society, those kids are honored there. And then you also have more individualized awards, like certificates of excellence in certain classes, and then also like departmental awards, and then you got like principal awards. And so like Maddie Clancy and I were recipients of the Superintendent Award, which was presented by Dr. Hunter, and we are so grateful and honored for that. So it's just really great. I think that really kicks off like the end of our we've already finished our classes, but really exciting to cap off the year with all that. So yes. We added this last minute because you guys had just brought up when Sunrise Club came in, presenting, articles to the town meetings, and I think someone mentioned the Simon Cataldo meetings, and so I do know that last week or 2 weeks ago, Girl Up Club had a meeting with him to discuss, I don't know what exactly it was, but it was some kind of voting act, or I don't know exactly what it was.
You want me to fill that in? Free menstrual products.
Oh, great, there you go.
In public places.
Oh, and then I think I also
State
saw
House.
the League of Women Voters coming in.
Yes,
Maybe
there
it was
was
the week
a-
after, that's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
They were all together.
But yes, Girl Up was really great with that. And then anyway, we also had our senior clap out, which kind of goes in the theme with, all these senior events, and we're gonna be talking a lot about that recently, but that was great because I think last year was very informal, and then this year I think it was a more formalized thing. And we were able to just walk through the halls, see our teachers and our students. Some of us, like my younger brother, I could see him in the hallway. And that was really special, and then we all rounded out in a circle in the right near the amphitheater at the end of near the calf. And that was really, I don't know, sweet to just see everyone on your last day, last official day, I guess, of classes. Do you wanna talk about prom?
Yes. I co-planned the pre-prom. We actually just got the photos from the photographer today. You see like the bottom left and then right above the Duncan one. We had, I think, somewhere near 200 plus people come to the pre-prom. It was like, the day was perfect, the venue was perfect. I mean, I don't know, I love prom. It was my first time going. So we're at the Boston Park Plaza. I don't wanna add anything else to it, but
Not really, it was
amazing.
just, yeah, really exciting.
Food was amazing too.
I heard that maybe they broke the dance floor because there was so much dancing
Yes,
going on.
the dance floor was broken.
Yes.
It was like over the course
Well
of the
done.
night, it like started like splitting,
Separating.
and then you'd like cut, like I still have cuts on my feet from falling on the floor. But that did happen, yeah. People just had too much fun, I guess. And then also I wanted to mention shout out the CC student interns, which you guys might have seen because I think they were all highlighted on the Instagram page, I believe. But just so cool to again see, you know, some of your students like passions you kind of didn't know about, like, oh, that person's interested in dermatology, or they want to be a police officer, or like I know there was like a really cool like, you know, business or a few businesses that were made, and that's just like so neat to see these like passions from your like peers who you don't normally like hear about that side of them in your classes. So anyway, very cool to have that showcased during lunches. And then just more senior things I want to highlight because it was literally the most amazing like past 2 weeks, just really sweet, capping everything off. We had all night live, I mean of course graduation, which yes, it was rained out, but I think that was totally made up for, and we had so much fun. It was really great, really busy, impossible to take pictures with friends and family, but somehow I managed it. Maddie and I have a picture. I think our heads might be barely cut off, but we have our picture in the slide. And we were sitting in the front row, so we were in a lot of those little cute pictures. I think a lot of them are in the Concord Bridge. So kind of special to have that all, and we went to Kimball's, we went to Six Flags, we had a field day. Just lots of stuff going on and really amazing to everyone. Thank you to everyone who hosted that and planned that out because it really made our last few weeks here at CC so special. And I can't believe I'm leaving it all, but we're really excited. And I know Maddie would say the exact same thing if she was here, but yes. Yeah, okay. Do you want to talk about the current things, which I can't talk about anymore?
Billing's been very quiet. So girls lacrosse is currently in their playoffs. They won their last 2 playoffs games, and I think they're number 3 in the state right now. There's still time to climb to the top. They haven't had that many games. Trying to see what else. There's the photo on the bottom right, which was one of the recent games that was, I think, in the Concord Bridge that Anne Rowney took. And they're all like mostly just wrapping up, and they're gonna start having their banquets.
Yeah, I know, like my brother does baseball and they're having the banquet like as we speak. So I'm going there right after this to deliver cookies. And then we also have, which I think is very relevant to this, we have the Student Senate and Government elections, which that includes the school committee representatives for next year, taking over both Maddie and my positions. We won't know about that until next week, I think. But yes, those 2 people who are elected will join, because we're doing this again next year.
Yes.
Yes, we'll join, yeah, just checking, we'll join Mark. So yes, very exciting.
Yes, and student government just had their elections also, so.
And those results are out now,
Yeah, vice president, and then Alex Hoover is president, Abby Adams is another vice president, treasurer is Charlotte Jackson, and secretary is Hannah Cohen.
So exciting.
So in case you
For
missed
senior
it,
class.
Mark is the vice president of senior
I
class.
heard
He
that.
said it
Yes.
very slightly.
Yes, I wanted to get it right, but so girls playoffs is, there's another game tomorrow, Elite 8, and it's the last home game at 4:30 versus Lexington. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and go out there.
And then our upcoming things are, I mean, finals, Q5, and do you wanna say anything about those? But
Quarter 5, I'm doing Reboot Your Wardrobe and Common App Boot Camp, which
ooh, that's fun.
I'm actually excited to get my Common App done and like have somebody help me with it, cause just before summer, I think it'll like relieve so much stress. And then I'm a little bit interested on Reboot Your Wardrobe.
I think there's some fun options, yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course summer, so we're really excited and Addie and I are going to be leaving to go to college sometime in mid-August for both of us. She's going to Dartmouth, I'll be going to Georgetown, so we're both very excited. She's studying history and I'm studying government. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of the updates throughout the year. You know, as someone who does not have students at the high school or children at the high school yet, it's, you know, just good to get a sense of what's going on. So definitely appreciate it. Wish you best of luck. Mark, thank you as always. We'll look forward to seeing you back here next year. It'll be August and September before we know it, unfortunately. Did anybody have any questions on the updates?
Mark, what are you doing this summer?
Oh, this summer. I'll be going to Nantucket with my friend, and then besides that, I just got into this program that I'm doing with the MECO CEO. I think it's called Bridgewater something. The application is due tonight, so. But I'm really excited. It's about something with like civic and like business related stuff. So
Awesome.
I'll spend 4 days at MIT, which I'm really excited about.
How about you, Evelyn? What are you up to for the summer?
Hopefully working so I can make money before college. That's the plan. I'm working on my resume right now. So yes.
I might know somebody else doing the same thing right now.
Yeah, I
Your
think-
age and lives in my house.
Yeah. All my friends are all in the same boat, so yeah.
Well, best of luck.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
both.
Thank you
Good luck.
both.
Thank you all.
Well done. Alright, we'll now move on to public comment. Just as a reminder, our public comment period will be a period of 20 minutes. As a reminder, this is a meeting in the public and not with the public, so the school committee will not be responding to any comments. If you're in the room and would like to make public comment, please submit a blue form to me and you'll be called on to speak. If you're on Zoom, you can use the raise hand feature. When called to speak, please state your name and address before doing so. We will go every other, starting with a comment in the room and then taking a comment on Zoom, and each person has a time limit of 3 minutes. I don't have any blue forms yet. Is there anybody, Cynthia?
I just, Cynthia Rainey, 80 Hunters Ridge Road. I just wanted to bring the community's attention to the events this month for Concord Pride. They have worked so hard, all the organizers. If there's anybody online who's more intimately aware of all the events, I just know that this Saturday, starting at 9, there's a parade. At 10:30, there's a flag raising in downtown Concord, and I think there's then activities for the rest of the day, family-friendly activities. So starting at 11 with a stage in the center of Concord. So please spread the word. I think it's gonna be not raining for once. So I think it's gonna be a great day. It might be a little warm, but I think it's just, they've worked really hard and it's quite a tradition now, I think, in Concord. And so please join in, come from Carlisle. We'd love to have you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Is there anybody on Zoom? Alright, moving along then, Jen Morgan?
Little something.
Just remember to say your address.
My address is 91 Riverside Ave. Good evening and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Jen Morgan. My husband Rob and I are parents of 3 children at Thoreau Elementary School. Our oldest is in 5th grade and will be heading to CMS this fall. First, we'd like to share how impressed we've been with Principal Sparks, who's here, which is so nice, and the entire Thoreau staff, especially in response to the recent fire. 2 of our 3 children's classrooms were displaced, and it has been clear that an extraordinary amount of care, intention, flexibility, and hard work went into supporting students and families through a difficult situation. We are deeply grateful for such capable leadership and feel fortunate to be part of this special school community. So thank you. That experience also highlights something we value greatly in Concord schools. When challenges arise, our district approaches them thoughtfully with students' well-being at the center. As our son prepares to transition to middle school, We hope to see that same intentionality applied to educational technology and AI, which we know significantly impacts the learning environment and potential of our children. Technology can be a powerful tool for learning, but how, when, and why it is used matters deeply. We are encouraged to see the district taking a closer look at educational technology through the upcoming assessment, and we're hopeful that it will lead our school community in a productive and intentional direction. We are also excited about the work of the Intentional Tech Coalition and fully support this group, as we believe meaningful progress will come from strong partnerships between schools and families. We also believe that parents and educators share the same goal, helping children learn, grow, and thrive in a rapidly changing world. By working together, we can ensure that technology serves our students in ways that are purposeful, age-appropriate, safe, and aligned with the values of our community. Thank you all for your time, your leadership, and your commitment to our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll just check again online. Is there anyone who wants to make a public comment? All right, and I don't have any more forms in the room. So that concludes public comment. We'll now move on to the consent agenda where we have warrants, a donation for Senior Week, as well as a CCHS trip to the White Mountains. Would someone like to make a motion to, I guess first, anything that needs to get pulled off from the consent agenda? Alright, I'll just,
We accept the consent agenda.
alright, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Aye. In terms of correspondence, I think there was just two. We got correspondence related to signage at the high school. And then we also had correspondence from the DEI Commission. Alright. Moving on to discussion, the first thing is the Maisie O'Donnell Diving Center update, and as you have been liaison there, I will turn it over to you.
All right, we welcome Sandy Smith, who is joining us on behalf of the Maisie O'Donnell Foundation. And we have Betsy O'Donnell, who is joining us on Zoom from Bulgaria, so it's really late, really late. And so they are coming to us to tell us a little bit about their project, which we're really looking forward to working with the O'Donnell Foundation, the Maisie O'Donnell Foundation, with the town, with CC Pools. Betsy's currently president of CC Pools also. So I will turn it over to Sandy and Betsy. You guys can decide who goes first.
I think Betsy, you're up first.
I am. So I just want, thank you, Sandy, and thank you, Tracy. Christoph and I just want to say once again how truly grateful we are for the support of the town in this initiative. Really, this has been a community endeavor to raise the money and the funds. And so we greatly appreciate your help as we navigate these final last details. And I will turn it over to Sandy, who will walk through those details.
Thanks very much, Betsy, and thank you, Tracy, for that introduction. I thought I might just give a quick rundown of what's happened since we were in front of you on August 20th last year. We presented a conceptual design for the Maisie O'Donnell Dryland Training Center, which would be attached to the Beatty Center. At that point, it was conceptual, and we were delighted with the reception we got from the school committee. It was unanimous at the time. Then our next stop was with the select board. We made a similar presentation to them on October 6th. They were unanimously supportive of the project as well. We asked the select board at that meeting if we could run the project with a nonprofit organization as opposed to having the town build the project. And we did that for two reasons. One, we felt that we could do it for a lower budget, and we felt we could do it faster. And the select board and town manager agreed at that meeting. And so the town council then rendered an opinion that in fact we could do that because laws had changed since original BD Center was built in the early 2000s. Town council rendered a positive opinion on October 24th. In November, we were actually able to revive the original CC Pools nonprofit organization with the help of Henry Dane, who was on the original board of CC Pools. So we had our nonprofit already basically in place, which helped tremendously. On January 16th, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the town, which entrusts CC Pools with the design and construction of the addition. And the memorandum of understanding is very specific in that the primary purpose of this addition is for the instruction and training of student athletes preparing themselves for participation in interscholastic and amateur competition in aquatic diving and related skills. That means the CCHS swim and dive team. So although it's attached to the BD Center, this is for your students, all of our students, primarily. On March 20th, we retained the architectural firm of Studio DSK to begin the design work, and we're currently in the design phase of the project at the moment. We're hoping to submit permit applications very shortly. And as you'll recall, the plan that we had last summer was to locate the addition in what I'll refer to as the lower parking lot. It's a small parking lot as you face the BD Center around to the left and sort of down a level. The attractive part of that is it's right through, there's a wall there, very tall wall, 30 plus feet, but it's right adjacent to the dive well. And it makes absolutely perfect sense that that be the location. There's very, very little site prep that has to be done because the parking lot there is right at, basically at the pool level. So that's our current plan. In order to execute on that plan, however, there are 6 parking spots there that are for a combination of staff parking and for delivery and service vehicles. And we need to find a place to relocate those parking spots. The special permit that was issued for the original BD Center required a total number of 136 parking spaces, and 6 of those are those 6. In considering the alternatives that we had, we wanted to find a solution which had as little impact on the overall campus site, both high school and BD Center site, as possible in terms of adding impervious surfaces. That's not a good thing. So we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to do something that can be done fairly easily and where we can not have to divert a lot of our resources into something other than our focus on building a first-class diving facility for our students. So we have come up with a proposal, which if you could, Drew, if you could pass those around. I have 12 of these. Shall we? Which involves your help. Let me get to my second page here. We've identified locations on the CCHS campus where we would like to strike 6 replacement parking spaces. On the first page of the handout, you'll see an area up by the radio station, TV station, and it's near the loading dock for the high school. And there's a small little sort of cut-through area that has just enough spaces for three parking spaces. And that's what we're showing on the first slide here, the first picture. That gets us halfway. And then we identified an area on the access road into the high school campus from Walden Street on the second slide. The town forest is right across to the right here on this picture. You see Walden Street coming across on the right. And as you turn up and the BD Center parking lot, one of the entrance and exits is there on the left. But we've got identified a spot for 3 additional parking spaces. This would allow us to comply with the special permit that we need to comply with. And as I said, it's been reviewed by both the police and fire departments. They concur that this is a reasonable plan. And as I said, these 6 spaces will not disrupt any of the current student parking. I know all the student parking spaces are all numbered, and we certainly didn't want to disrupt all that numbering. These can be numbered or not, depending what you want to do with them. But it doesn't disrupt the current student parking. It will have no impact on impervious surfaces at all. And as I said, it will allow us to devote all of our resources to building a terrific diving facility for the town. So that's the proposal. We would appreciate your support of that, and that will allow us to move forward to the permitting process, finish up our design work, and move forward on with a permit application sometime in the next several weeks.
Just to clarify, is this the only thing standing between getting to that next stage, getting to permitting?
Well, it's certainly one of them. I mean, we have to, once we get this done and know that we've been able to find spots to satisfy the requirements, then we can finish up the actual design work. But we have, we had a good head start on that. Because it's fundamentally a very similar plan to what we had last summer.
So has the timeline shifted at all?
Sorry?
Has the timeline shifted since we spoke last summer?
Has the timeline shifted? That's an interesting question. We're not really in control of the timeline. The planning board and the zoning board really are going to determine what the timeline is. We will have to. We hope to be able to submit an application to them this month. And looking at their calendar, it looks like our first meeting opportunity with them would be about 6 weeks out from the time that we submit the application. Then there's a 20 or 30-day waiting period after they approve it for appeals. We'll wait for that. And then we would probably begin construction sometime in the early part of the fall, would be my guess.
Well, what a wonderful way to really honor Macy's life and to give a gift to the town. I mean, we're so grateful for the work that the foundation's done and for everyone that's contributed to it. And we are definitely looking forward to partnering with the town to really make this happen.
Thank you. We promise you we'll do our best job to produce as I said, a first-class facility that you and the town will be proud of. So that's our objective. If you can help us with allowing us to stripe these 6 spaces, that'll be a huge hurdle that we will have cleared.
So what are the next steps?
Yeah, so
just
I've
on
been
the
involved in
spaces?
this for weeks now, so
Yeah.
we vetted these spots, it's totally fine
Okay.
by the high school. No impact really at all, in fact, some are already ad hoc parking.
Yeah, some people park in those very spaces.
And our maintenance team can stripe them tomorrow if you approve it, so it's pretty straightforward if we're all on the same page.
Okay, but we're not voting on this. tonight?
Well, if
Or are
I think we have one more meeting, but it might be best to vote on it tonight unless someone wants to wait till the next meeting. But it seems like, to me, it seems very straightforward, and with the approval from police and fire and the district and everyone saying that this seems to be okay. I know we talked about, they had talked about putting additional ones all down that Walden
Yep.
Street, but now that's not gonna happen, so I feel like even from buses entering and leaving, if you've been on that campus during that time, this shouldn't have any impact on that.
Okay.
So if people feel comfortable, I think we put to the vote
If I
tonight.
recall from the last time we discussed this, that was the only concern. There were 6 spots, 3 spots, and if police and fire is saying there's ample space from the intersection at Walden from the drive, I don't see anything that should hold us back.
I feel like this is the least we can do and we should approve it tonight and get them on their way.
Seems like a no-brainer to me too.
Alright, so
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the 6 parking spots as proposed at the meeting.
Seconded.
Any final discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Alright,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it.
okay. We will continue now to our school improvement plans. Dr. Hunter, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. So we were gonna reverse order here and start with the high school, and then make our way to middle and elementaries. So I'm gonna invite Katie Stahl and Brian Miller up to talk with you. Our plan is to assume you've read them and highlight, each administration is gonna highlight a few pieces, but we really want this to be a dialogue and not just sit here and
Thank you,
lecture with you. We're
Thanks, Sandy.
cognizant of time and wanna be sure it's a back and forth discussion, not just us talking with you. We're talking with you but not at you. So Brian and Katie are here. I'm gonna turn it over to them to kick it off and then we can discuss from there.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
See you. Okay, so we are just gonna choose 2 rows that we're gonna talk about. So first one we wanna talk about is on the bottom of the first page. And it's talking about expanding student-driven learning opportunities, increase our understanding, engagement, and joy. That's something we're really looking forward to do. So one of the ways we wanna do that is we have been partnering with Lavinia, which is a education consultant group for the past 2 years. They've been amazing. It's taken us a little bit of time to find the right group to offer professional development for our staff, but they have really formed strong connections. So it's just nice. They're not the one-hit wonder. Many of them are on campus 5 or 10 times throughout the year. They know our staff's name, our staff knows their name. They have a real actual connection, especially built over 2 years now. So they've been doing a lot of individual coaching with our staff, but something that we're looking to bring in next year is really look at strengthening our leadership team ability to do some of that work as well. So 3 or 4 times over the course of the next year, bringing them in directly into our leadership teams. The other thing that we are really looking to expand explore is our interdisciplinary offerings. I think many of you know what Twice Told Tales is.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so we've always only offered that in first semester, but we are offering it in both semesters next year. We're also expanding offering AP Environmental Science and AP Language in Rivers and Revolutions directly. So that will be a really cool addition. And then also we've been talking with some of the 9th grade academy leaders about what opportunities might exist for within the 9th grade academy team structure. One thing you'll notice is that we have had a 4th goal for a long time about the 9th grade academy, but we feel like we're doing a really good job at it. And we just felt like we did. It doesn't mean we're not going to continue to keep it a focus, but it's not something that we felt like we needed a 4th goal in. But this summer, some of our summer work is going to be about exploring the interdisciplinary opportunities that might exist in this academy model. So we're really excited about those ideas.
Yeah, and just to piggyback about Lavinia, we're just really excited to continue that work next year with our English, social studies, math, and science departments. the work that they're doing with our department chairs, getting into classrooms, observing with the chairs, kind of using that coaching model has been incredibly impactful and beneficial for all of our teachers. And really thinking about some of the transferable skills that they can use for students and kind of shifting the cognitive load for teachers and students. So we're really looking forward to continuing that work with them next year.
Can I ask a question about APES within Rivers?
Yeah.
So if you take Rivers first semester, you'll take first semester AP Environmental, and then you'll take it either A or B block or whatever block it fits into second semester?
Yeah,
Vice
well,
versa, like you can do it both ways?
yeah, you can do it both ways.
Okay.
You could do like apes and rivers first semester and then do apes not in rivers second.
Outside of Rivers,
Yeah,
okay.
like it wouldn't necessarily have to be an A or B block, cause now you're no longer in
Yeah.
rivers. Yes, so
And Twice Told Tales is oversubscribed every year, right? So this is a
There's always
real-
a lot
I mean,
of
there's
signups.
like 100 kids every year that want it, so I still don't know if we met all the demand
Yeah.
for all the kids who, yeah, it's a great course.
They present here and we all wanted to sign up.
Who wouldn't? Alex and Eric are amazing.
Yeah, okay, so the next thing we're gonna talk about is on the last page, creating and promoting safe spaces where voices and needs of diverse students and their families are valued and heard. So we've had quite a few new affinity groups pop up this year, and something that we started to do mid-year was to bring together the leaders of those affinity groups so that they could have time together to talk about common themes, common challenges, scheduling, different things that they have coming up. And it's been really incredible to have those leaders come together to kind of share, you know, the different things that their groups are doing. So that's something that we're definitely gonna continue. Our goal is to have at least one meeting each quarter next year so that all the leaders can come together and just brainstorm and share ideas. And it was really cool to see, just like after our very first meeting, all the different affinity groups following each other on social media and talking about ideas for, you know, ways that they can incorporate their groups into fun Fridays and things that they can do together and promoting each other's events. So that's been really exciting to see, and we're really excited to continue that work with our student body next year.
Yeah, our student reps came in and talked about how impactful that was.
Yeah.
And so it's great to see you guys
Yeah.
lean into that a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
And it's fun to hear the students talk about it and then you come in and talk about it.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, well, we both mentioned it on Saturday as well. It was like, we
Oh,
didn't
in our
really
speech,
know
yeah.
that, like,
Yeah.
we hadn't read Laurie's, Laurie hadn't read ours,
Yeah.
that was
We don't
something
get them
that-
done ahead enough.
Yeah, there wasn't like enough.
And you can watch it on Minuteman Media if you missed it. You can watch all their speeches, they're excellent.
I know that I'm being led on the DI commission, that the commission has interest in working with the student affinity groups, and I've also heard from the student affinity groups that they want to work together not only with the other groups in the school, but expand envelope with other neighboring communities, the like affinity groups. Is there any work going on toward that?
Yeah, so I know that our BSU has often had potlucks with Bedford and Wakefield.
Yes.
I think those,
Or
which,
Wakefield,
I think
yeah.
Wakefield. So I know that our Spectrum group, not only Spectrum, but a lot of students in Spectrum just went to a LGBTQIA plus prom a few Fridays ago, held at Woburn High School. So I think that as the affinity groups become more developed, that I think right now some of them are just getting their feet underwater and trying to deal with navigating CC. But then they're ready, like some of those groups have been around for a bit longer and are looking elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
A couple of questions about academic achievement. It says 95% retention of underrepresented students in AP enrollment. How far are we from that target?
So dual enrollment, we have no measure of because we've never done dual enrollment. So there's that. I think that we've made
Can you explain dual enrollment for the committee? Thanks.
So I guess I should call it concurrent enrollment because that's really what it's called. So dual enrollment would be if our students went to Middlesex and took courses at Middlesex during the day. Concurrent enrollment will be students will receive CC but also Middlesex credit
but the course is taught by a CC teacher
At CCHS.
at CC. So you could have kids in, I don't know, like
Psychology.
psychology, and Katie could be taking it for concurrent enrollment credit and I'm not, or vice versa. I think that we have made a lot of progress recently about just getting these marginalized students into honors and AP courses, and we've really started with 9th grade. So it's hard to say. We started 2 or 3 years ago with younger students. It's really hard to just start with your 12th graders and say all of a sudden you're going to take student. It's not really setting up a student for success. So I think this is the first year that we actually have a substantial number of students taking it. So it's hard for me to really give that data exactly, but I think it's, yes, for sure.
On a similar line, right, the enrollment in upper class courses by 10%, is that the goal over the next year or a few years?
I think that is our goal for this coming year, like sort of when kids have registered for courses in a year from now.
10% more than a baseline right now.
10% more than now, yeah.
Let others ask questions, I have a few more, I'm gonna keep asking.
But didn't you also have students that opted to enroll in some of your English electives versus like AP English? So you can have the goal, but sometimes they might say, gee, I really wanna take, I don't know, I'll make it up, French literature, instead of taking AP Lang. And so that's gonna happen, right?
Right,
But you can still
especially-
take it for honors credit
Correct.
in your electives,
Yes.
okay.
Yep. And there's so many, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the course catalog. There's so many amazing courses for students to choose them. So it's really about, preference and what they want
Right.
to study and what they wanna spend their time on.
And I had somebody ask me, like literally today, they're like, well, does it matter if you take AP or honors? Like, is there any difference, like, and people always worry about what colleges think of taking an AP class versus an honors class, and I was like, personally, I'm like, it doesn't really matter, like take what you wanna take and take what you're prepared for.
Yeah, I think it's all about fit for student and thinking about like their balance as a whole and their course load as a whole and what makes sense for them, especially in their junior and senior years, when they have more flexibility to choose classes that they wanna be in.
I did have a question. I noticed it said grade 6 to 12 department chairs meeting to collaborate. And you probably know where I'm going with this. Where are the opportunities for Carlisle, if any?
So we've done this year as well.
Okay.
It's Carlisle has absolutely been included. They don't have, maybe it's less of a department chair, but there's certainly like a liaison from Carlisle
Okay.
that they've been included in the discussions. So I think our goal is just we started it this year and I think we maybe did 2 or 3.
Our chairs love it. They love,
It's-
streamlining and talking about the vertical alignment. So that's been exciting for sure.
So I think we're just looking to expand on that and just at least have it happen once a quarter.
No, that's great, and especially as we're finishing our strategic plan where vertical and horizontal alignment from pre-K to 8 is going to be something we start on next year.
Yeah.
I think just great to hear.
Did you wanna go back to the dual?
Once more, but-
Oh, go ahead. The dual enrollment real quick. I love that you're committing to that. And I wonder if there's any movement toward early college as well. Typically is one of the best catalysts for low income students to launch into college and complete, not only saving them money, but also getting them far along the journey to a degree. I'm curious if there's any momentum or thinking toward that in the future.
Yeah, so this is new for us starting next year. So for us, like, we're really excited about this, and I think we'll see how our students do with it, how much they take advantage of it. I mean, I think they're gonna really like it for many of those reasons.
Yeah.
So I think anything to kind of think about the benefits for our students post high school, right? Earning credits and all of those things is certainly something that we're open to exploring and thinking about, and we'll continue to.
Do you imagine it'll have an impact on college enrollment rates? And I know we have a very high college enrollment rate.
Yeah.
But I don't know actually what our college completion rate is for students who graduate from Concord. And I don't know if that is knowable or easily knowable.
Not easily.
Yeah.
Not easily.
Yeah.
We've talked about
We've
that. That's something that we we don't have great data on that. We just did an exit survey for our seniors and asked for their email addresses or personal email addresses for, you know, when they leave, so that we, you know, as we think about how to capture more data moving forward, we can reach more students.
But doesn't DESE track like 16 months after, but they don't track beyond that?
Yeah, you'd have to do, I think the best proxy would be 36 months National Student Clearinghouse
Yeah.
data, which is not, it's not crazy expensive, it's like $3 a student
Yeah.
to buy that data.
Yeah.
But it's possible in theory, yeah. I would posit, I hypothesize that you would have an impact on it by the dual enrollment in early college initiative.
Okay, maybe I'll keep asking.
Go for it.
The multi-tiered support, it spoke about 9th and 10th grade. Is there a reason why it's not in 11th and 12th, or?
I think that we certainly we focus a lot with our screeners and things, with our reading screeners and math screeners towards the younger grades, and I think just building that foundation in the 9th and 10th grades has been really beneficial to our students. As they get to 11th and 12th grade, I think we certainly provide students with the supports that they need. It's just we're not necessarily looking at the whole grade at once.
And I think if we're doing a good job at 9th and 10th, right, we're sort of pulling back those services.
Right.
As we can. Getting them ready for whatever looks next.
And increasing their independence, yeah.
In diversity retention.
Yes.
Do you have numbers on what the attrition has looked like in recent years? Because it spoke about trying to develop recommendations for increased retention. Is that a problem, or?
No, we've actually been doing a really nice job hiring more diverse faculty. In a year with rifts, that's challenging. But I think that it's certainly on our mind every time we've made a hire, and they've been incredible. We've made good steps forward.
Thank you.
I have a question. This is certainly not the sum total of all you're doing. But sometimes the things that appear on the list are the most important, but it's the things that just miss. I'm curious, is there one or two things that just miss being on here that you know, not at you?
For me, I think it's definitely shows up in both the inclusive culture and the second strand about well-being, but it's about like how do we ensure all students have a strong sense of connection and belonging. To me, that's super important. I don't know how you can like begin to learn well if you don't feel like that you show up to a school where people know who you are. So I think that that's always our challenge, to take a place where 1,200 kids and 200 to 250 staff show up every day and make it that kids, like that it feels smaller and kids feel known and that they've found their space.
Yeah.
So that would be.
There's so many little things that we all do day to day that won't end up, right, like in our school improvement plan, but that mean so much to students and to educators in the building, so, yeah.
I appreciate that, the answer and the honesty. It's hard to leave things on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in where we can go on that very topic. That's an important one.
Us too.
Is there anything you need from us in particular as you pursue the things that are listed for next year's school improvement plan?
I'm so grateful that our students can come here and talk about so many of the great things that they're doing. I know that recognition means a lot to them and they love that time, so thank you. And if we can continue to have them come back to school committee next year, I know that goes a long way, so thank you for that.
Yeah, no, we're super grateful. I think that we absolutely appreciate your support and it is felt from us and our staff, so thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's fun hearing the students talk about the last 2 weeks because it's been such a whirlwind.
Oh,
I was
when she was talking
sitting
about
over there getting teary. I was like,
were just
was
talking
really
about 9 to
fun.
5, I go, that felt like, I was like,
Felt like
I thought it was
months
3
ago.
months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, it was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that feels like a long time ago.
Like a lifetime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Will we continue to middle school now?
Yeah, so Mr. Cameron comes alone, which is the only, so you'll be gentler on him because he has no
9
partner.
years.
Yeah.
Like next year I'm gonna bring Molly, our comfort dog.
Yeah.
Should.
Good to see you all. Just a very quick shout out to Mr. Hausman. We got 18
Yes.
staff right now in DC, about 200 kids.
Yes.
They're in the hotel room preparing for dinner dance in the hotel. I'm sure they're watching on their devices. And as quickly as that, I'm very proud to share that counter programming that with the group that's staying back from DC. For the first time ever, the state asked our middle school to come to the DCU Center to do some showcasing of the civics action project that all 8th graders do throughout the Commonwealth. So that happened this week with the group that stayed back, a small cohort went to the DCU Center. Second time this school year where the state has asked us to showcase a model, so
Wow, that's
pretty
great.
special.
I might have stayed home from my 8th grade DC trip, and it wasn't like that. It was very unsupervised. That was the 80s though.
All right, I am here to highlight some important foundational work in Tier 1 that's being focused on this school improvement plan. Very briefly, Tier 1 is the foundational work that all students have access to, and strong foundational work that is done in the mainstream classrooms. Quite frankly, if you have strong Tier 1 instruction happening in SEL focus, then all your data improves and all your data soars. You can have the best special education and intervention programs in your school, but if you don't have strong Tier 1, it will fall and it will falter. So underneath the 2 objectives of multiple paths to success and well-being and mental health, I'm just going to briefly share some of the focus that we had this school year, which launched us to these 2 new goals. So the entire district did some work, very important work with Danisa Jackson, Dr. Jackson, around UDL, which is Universal Design for Learning. There are 2 areas that are highlighted in the school improvement plan. One is Tier 1 instruction and making sure that all of our teachers in the mainstream classrooms are giving choices to students and have multiple paths to success for our students. And that UDL work is again aligned very strongly with Tier 1 objectives. The way in which we're going to be monitoring that work and supporting the teachers is through professional development, and what we already have in place which is some monitoring of data that we do almost every other month. We do that at the team level, the grade level team level, and then we do that as a student support team of administrators, guidance counselors, school psychologists, and nurses about once a week as well. The data points that we measure is through PAIR, which is an SEL assessment that all the students take, through Renaissance Star Math, Renaissance Star English, and of course MCAS as well. We've been fortunate enough, as I mentioned just minutes ago, to be recognized by the state in closing some of the gaps that we've had at the middle school. But we are really committed to the strong Tier 1 work and UDL priority that we have in place, which gets us to underneath well-being and mental health, some SEL work that we're doing through an initiative called PBIS. PBIS is positive behavioral incentive supports or systems. The middle school wrote a grant, say 5 years ago, through the Concord Ed Fund that provided all of us with these pouches and school stored gift cards. It is aligned with our school values of compassion, motivation, and self-awareness. We're really focused, which is the tenet of PBIS, in making sure that we are shining the bright light on what is essentially the 99% of kids and their amazingness and how well they behave and focus on their academics. And we're looking to make sure that there's an extrinsic focus on those areas by all of us walking around with pouches have school store gift cards attached to them. We started this work about 5 years ago, and part of the grant that was submitted to Concord Ed Fund was curriculum in the area of teaching the kids about compassion, teaching the kids about motivation, and then the one that's a little bit more nuanced, self-awareness. We've packed a lot in our advisory program, and I feel like that education of those three core areas, those three core values, have gotten lost a little. So we're looking to recommit. Educators, when we start out with something and we're new to something, I think we're really good at being intentional about it. And then sometimes we forget every 4 years there's a new group of students in front of us that don't have that foundation. So under well-being and mental health, you see that we're looking to recommit ourselves to the good work of PBIS. The way we're going to monitor that is we're really looking as a school to get a cadence with the Panorama survey data. We really feel like we've had the Panorama in place for a couple of years, and we don't necessarily have, but we will next year through the school improvement goal, any sense of what group is looking at it, what group is monitoring it, what group is looking at areas of growth and areas of needs improvement that we might have. And how is all of that Panorama data tied to the school improvement goal? So those are 2 quick highlights that I wanted to share. Both I feel like are paralleled in the work of Denise Jackson and UDL.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody have questions?
Thanks, Justin. I'm recalling the 2024-25 and the most recent Panorama data. And specifically the area looking at sense of belonging. I recall numbers 24-25 were low this year. I seem to recall a 38% number where the families concerned about that the schools saw or understood their child's culture and their child's background. With those 2 numbers, I think the number prior was around 19%. How can you speak to tracking over time and looking to grow that number?
Sure, that was the parent survey that you're studying? Yeah. The student sense of belonging was actually quite high this past one, but I'll answer the question focused on the families. There is mention underneath this goal of doing more work partnering with families. I'm not sure if you've ever heard, but a lot of educators who are intentional about doing work such as this, if that work is not shared and partnered with the families, we have very little hope. So we've been really more thoughtful and deliberate in the playbook work this year, and sending home, I think 5 or 6 days before the scenarios that we're doing with, all I can say is a packet of how we're asking parents to review the scenario, the questions that are going to be asked of the students by the student leader. And all of that was a lot of work behind the scenes, but we've seen a shift, a very positive shift this year in the playbook, and we really contribute that shift to that partnering with the families. I go back 5 years ago when we received that grant from Concord Ed Fund in doing the PBIS work. Again, we were teaching the core values in our advisory program, but I can't actually recall any sort of work or communication that was being done with families. And I think that's the piece that's really highlighted here. And that was really highlighted in the work that we did with Dr. Jackson as well. When we kind of brought together a sense of frustration that, when we hit Panorama data, that we seem like PBIS, our core values, should have grown, but we're seeing it stagnant or we're not seeing growth. And we were like, we need to do more in bringing the families in, listening to them, but also sharing with them, the instruction and foundational work that we're doing with their kids and asking them to do it at home.
So do you mind if I add something?
Of course.
So on the playbook initiative, anecdotally, I know my family's been one of the ones that have reached out to you with questions and comments about the content that was, as you mentioned, like a week before actual training in the classroom. You've been responsive to that. I know anecdotally other friends of mine who have kids in the playbook initiative, they've reached out. You've been responsive to the comments, so thank you for that. It definitely helps.
I appreciate that. The other thing that I think we still haven't solved is we're a school that communicates a lot, and all I'm doing right now is saying we're going to communicate more. And the saturation that I think happens in our community, and I'm a parent myself, when I toggle over to my personal email, the number of emails that are highlighted in bold that I haven't opened from my own daughter's school, it can be quite alarming. So I get that as well, attending a music concert, last week at middle school, I really think we can start using audiences like that, as one grade level band was moving off and another grade level band was kind of transitioning in. I was imagining that could be a time where, a student leader gets on a mic and says something about the playbook.
Yeah.
Because that is, I think, where we have to start getting creative. And what I'm mentioning right now, which is a place where some families feel a little bit overwhelmed. So as much as it's a goal here to communicate more often and better, I think we need to be creative in the methods that we do that.
Can I ask? The movie trailers are oftentimes the best part of the movie when you've got a captive audience.
Yep.
Look at that. Sorry, Michelle.
May I ask, how will you execute the tier one instruction for the students that are scoring low on the ELA and the math MCAS? How will that get pulled out, and how do you see and envision that just being, scaffolded for the different students in the middle school?
Sure. I think it's through, first, I want to give credit to the middle school teachers. Most of them have had what I'm about to say for years. And it's as much as, really championing them and making sure that they're modeling for each other. So, the world language teacher, the art teacher, the English teacher who has a student in their class who is struggling, what a lot of schools do, what some parents do, is they race right past that classroom teacher and they're talking about assessment, special education assessment. Whereas good tier one slows all of that down. And you mentioned the word scaffolding. So I think it's in an area that the classroom teacher recognizes, this project that I've been assigning now for 12 years doesn't really have much choice in it. And I don't know how many of the students really connect to it or have a sense of identity with it. So I wonder if there's a choice board that I can offer that gets this project off of technology. And then gets, calls back, the 1982 and, doing a diorama, and I think there's so much research out there and so much data out there that suggests that no matter the path that a student takes, if they take something that sparks their curiosity and their interest and that they can connect to, and that's when they're gonna feel success. So I think it's a matter of really making sure that the teachers just know that those are different ways that students can be successful. And again, having the teachers model for each other. You're welcome.
To follow on that, looking back at our subgroup numbers for both ELA and math, is there anything that that you would need from us in terms of better supports, for instance, sort of breaking out some of the specific math support from assistant to math tutor or anything like that?
Lori's gonna laugh because I don't.
You guys are killing me with the, what do you need? And I sit here and go, wonder what I'm gonna hear in a minute.
Thanks for taking that text up.
Don't give me any more trouble.
No, the reason why she's gonna laugh is because I find a way every year to share, I think in this question, we made a pretty significant shift in our master schedule, now maybe 6 years ago, where all of the core teachers are enrichment teachers and interventionalists. And I can't stress enough how significant that is at the secondary level. Because at the secondary level, the content gets harder. And your special educators that, again, schools and parents rush kids who are struggling too often to special educators who, wait for it, have only a special education license. So when you have a master schedule that offers your core teachers the opportunity to be in front of groups that you're looking to really grow that data, even students who are doing well, we are responsible for growing their data as well. And those teachers hold that license in the area that they need to grow in, then that right there is the recipe. That's the secret sauce. And quite frankly, students want to reconnect with that teacher and see them in a different way for a second time in that school day. And that is what our master schedule is offering. So instead of a master schedule where the bell rings and a student who is struggling and was rushed to special education and they go to a special education class, the bell rings and all of our students are going to an enrichment block. We just call it simply enrichment. But about a quarter of them are going to an intervention class that they still call enrichment. And it is with their teacher that they've seen second period and it's all of a sudden sixth period. And that relationship is often getting stronger. It's almost like having a real instructionally focused after school program built into your school day. And if you know anything about extracurricular or after school, if your teachers and educators are leading it, the kids see you in a different light. And that connection, that sense of belonging, that I have an adult in this school just grows so mightily. So I think it's just a continuation of supporting that master schedule and supporting the 3 teams at each.
It took us years in the budget to build that.
Years.
So this committee, these positions have really done that work over time.
Yep. Lori and I came into a 2-building model where all 3 grades had just 2 teams. And there was slightly more students then. So think about that paradox. We have found a way to take 3 grades that just had 2 teams. We brought 3 teams to each grade, and that offered up that opportunity for that enrichment intervention block, which I will dare say, if you look at the special education numbers and the cost of special education at the middle school, and even 5 years from now, all of that should be lowered because of this important work.
Thank you.
I need to ask him one more question.
I wanna make sure we get on to elementary, cause
I
they've been
hear you.
waiting, so final question, Drew?
Sure, yeah, final question. I found myself saying amen and hallelujah to most of what you put on here, and I wanna double click on one thing which I love, and also I wanna ensure that it's having the intended outcome, which is grading for equity.
Yeah.
And I love that you encourage students to retake up to an 85. I think productive struggle is one of the most meaningful ways to help someone make leaps and bounds gains in school. The question I have for you is, do we track who is taking advantage of this and when? Because it is oftentimes the students with the least help-seeking behavior that are left behind by measures like these, which are intended to create equity, but sometimes can inadvertently cause inequity, where the high-achieving students with the parents that are going to poke and prod them, but maybe the students that don't have the same resources at home are not necessarily taking full advantage. And I'm curious, are we aware of who and how often these things are getting used, and are we making sure that they're equally distributed among the students?
Excellent question. This, our retake practice that's been now in our school improvement plan for a couple of years is aligned with our flex block. It is not a passive, come to my classroom before the first bell to retake this. In fact, we're very intentional in not doing such a thing before the first bell or after the last because of equity and access. Instead, and it happened to me today, I had a great plan for my advisory.
Yes.
I have 9 kids that I see every morning. Every Wednesday is an extended advisory block. And I forgot to check my spreadsheet of how many of them were being pulled by teachers to retake something. So I did attendance, and all of a sudden I had 3 kids in front of me. So I think this is answering your question. That goal is tied to our teachers are calling the kids in during the school day.
Appreciate that.
To say, you have this opportunity, we're looking for mastery here, you can get up to an 85, let's take advantage of this. So, we're looking to build self-advocacy. We even teach the kids how to write an email to their teacher about such things. But at the same time, we're not leaving behind the kids who don't have the parents who are like, you need to email your teacher and ask her if you can take this retake tomorrow. Instead, that teacher has a list that's sent out to advisory saying, here are the kids who have the chance at the retake. Send them to me.
My hope for you is that in the future years, there is a SMART goal around the percentage of students who qualify for a retake that take advantage of it. Because I think it would be illuminating and would hopefully rally more teachers to be as proactive as what you describe. Because until it's 100%, it's probably not enough.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you all.
So as they come up, I have an introduction to make, so the elementary folks should come up. Incoming Willard Principal Stephanie Nephew is here, so we wanted to use tonight to let you all get to meet Stephanie. A few of you have, because she's a Willard principal and you are parents there. Don't ask her any questions. Matt's here to still take the question. They have worked collectively, as we have the past few years, on the improvement plan with some school-specific things, but it's been a really big goal of ours, and the synergy continues to build across the 3 schools. For all those same reasons you just heard about Tier 1, it's really, really important all the kids at all 3 schools are getting the same experience, and it's not dependent on school or teacher or any other piece. So I'm gonna let them talk on the things they wanna highlight. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. She's been here all day, so we're testing out your stamina at 8 o'clock at night right off the bat. So I'll let them pick the highlights they wanna share, and then you can talk with them.
Hi everyone. So I'm gonna highlight a couple of things from Strategic Objective 1. Our school improvement plans are very similar for the reasons that Lori just shared, is that we've worked really hard to create that alignment and ensure that we're not implementing new curriculum in one building and not in the other. I think before I jump into some specifics, it's probably helpful to frame where we are, because you'll notice that quite a lot of what that we outlined this year is continue the work. So we are like 1, 2, maybe 3 years, depending on the initiative, into some really big initiatives. So between EL and Open Circle and Responsive Classroom, like these are really big undertakings, and they're all in the beginning years. And so almost everything on our school improvement plan this year is continuing work that has been started in the past couple of years and going deeper with what we've done. So I just wanted to frame that a little bit. A couple of things that I want to highlight from strategic objective 1. First, I don't think we could come to this meeting and not talk about EL. So a huge part of our work next year is going to be furthering the work that we've done with expeditionary learning. I know it's not the purpose of this meeting, but I just like our teachers have done such an amazing job with such a big undertaking this year. It's been really like a joy and a privilege to support them and watch them with this undertaking. And we feel really like we're in a really good place to move forward into year 2. So with respect to EL, the work that we're going to be doing is twofold. So teachers who didn't implement this year because it was optional in the first year, they are going to be in what's considered cohort 2, and they are going to be implementing for the first time with the expectation of just get through it as best as you can. We will be working to support them with the added sort of the advantage of having done it once already. So they have lots of colleagues who have done it once already. And so a big part of next year is supporting cohort 2 in EL implementation. For cohort 1, the big shift, which will be a big shift, is doing all 4 of the modules. So for this year, the expectation was do as much as you can, make sure you do 3 modules, but we know that first year, completely changing your sort of approach, you're gonna go slower than you normally would. For next year, the expectation is that everyone is doing 4 modules. And then the other piece that's gonna be new is that we're really gonna be looking closely at the assessments embedded in EL to make sure that those are driving instruction. They administered them this year, but without if you administer an assessment and you still don't really know what's coming next because you're in the middle of implementing for the first time, it's hard to use that data and say, well, here's what I would change, because you don't even know what you're about to do. And so that is all different for next year. So next year, the 2 big things that are going to be different for people in cohort 1 are getting through all 4 modules, which means we'll be hitting all of the standards, and then also really using those embedded assessments. I think the other piece to highlight, so for a couple of years now, we have been using DIBELS to guide our instruction. We started implementing it universally K through 5, I want to say 2 years ago. Before that, we had just been using it in the primary grades. And so teachers are getting really skilled at using that data to drive their instruction. And so what I think we have to do now is find the balance, and this is structural work, but working with the master schedule to ensure that the work that DIBELS drives, which is the small group instruction and the teaching of the foundational skills, that there's a balance for that with sort of the competing need for a really large literacy block for the EL piece. And so we are working to figure out how to fit all of that in, to make sure that we have space in the schedule for EL, for the small group, skills-based instruction, and then also for our MTSS supports. And I think it'll be an iterative process. I think each year we're trying a few new things to see how they work, and we'll be doing that again next year. And then I think the other piece that is probably worth highlighting is that a really nice consequence of EL this year has been really increased collaboration across the schools and even within the building. So for the first time this year, I think we've all experienced teachers voluntarily observing each other and opening up their classrooms and saying, sure, come see me do this. What is a language dive? Come watch me do a language dive and tell me how it's going, right? And so I think our goal for next year is to really capitalize on that and continue helping to support teachers to rely on each other, in addition to all the professional development that we will continue to provide from the district level, but really making sure that those opportunities continue. And I think that's a priority for all of us. I will pause. and move on to I really could talk about EL for a very long time. I really enjoyed it this year. But go ahead.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. We cleared out the room, I guess.
They're all watching online.
Lori mentioned it, Naomi mentioned it. It feels good that every time we come as an elementary group, the school improvement plans get a little more cohesive, right? And that's intentional. That's thanks to the work of Lori and Shelley as well. And as Naomi mentioned, it was a great opportunity with implementation this year to collaborate a ton, not just the three of us, but the teachers in our buildings, observing in other buildings, working together. And they find a ton of value in this. So that's something we're gonna leverage moving forward. So I have objective 2, well-being and mental health. And it's timely because May was Mental Health Awareness Month, right? And you noticed our partners at the CEF made some commentary about the importance, Brian Miller as well, so you'll see some through lines throughout. Really important to us, raising awareness, reducing the stigma, and supporting both our children as well as our adults. Sometimes we forget about the teachers, and student success is tied to the well-being of our teachers. So really important that we're doing that work. When a teacher comes to work every day feeling seen and heard and valued and well taken care of, they can create the type of classroom environment where all of our learners thrive, relationships flourish, and students can do their best learning. So that's a huge priority for us. This year, and the work will continue on to next year. Something that we were intentional about this year was the Panorama Survey. We did a survey for students, for families, and for staff earlier in the fall. We took some time with our leadership teams and with our full faculties and really dove into this data, right? We analyzed it, we did some protocols at our faculty meetings, and discovered what's working and what are some growth opportunities for us as a staff. Just off the top of my head, the staff, at least from Thoreau and I'm sure at Alcott and Willard as well, feel a tremendous sense of community within the schools. But staff burnout and teacher stress is something that we need to make sure we monitor. One of the ways we're approaching this is we were able to pull together an ad hoc wellness committee of volunteers, about 7 or 8 teachers who stay after school, and look at the data and talk about ways we can think creatively about implementing things for staff, opportunities to get together to build culture and community as a group, just to keep morale and culture high. We've done things like coffee and treat cards during a busy parent-teacher conference day. Little notes of appreciation, bulletin boards that honor all the hard work and respect the hard work. We're including our ESPs, our education support professionals. I got that right?
You got it, yeah.
You do.
In this as well, because they're often a forgotten group, I'll say, and we're working hard just to make sure whatever we do, we're including them in that conversation. We hosted a breakfast for them last week where we just got a chance to sit down together and talk about what's working for them, what's stressful, what barriers we can remove as a leadership team. It was well received. We also connected with Helen down at Concord Flower Shop, and we were able to take a group of teachers down there and do a class on flower arranging, which is interesting. It's fun. And then just to sort of pivot over to what we're doing around, and Naomi mentioned it, the open circle work. So this is our social and emotional learning, our tier 1, our universal program. A lot of teachers had training in the past. We sort of, the organization went defunct and then they revived it. The new program is very similar to the former one, and the majority of our teachers, I would say, have had some level of training, which was great. So we're continuing to identify those people and get them the professional development they need, while at the same time identifying a go-to person within our buildings, a point person who can, like a train the trainer model, who's had substantial training, who can come in, work with the teachers, plan, prep, go into classrooms, model or co-teach, which has been really helpful. Knowing that EL was a big undertaking this year, I said we're gonna have a soft rollout for Open Circle, but the teachers have really embraced it, and these lessons are working quite well. So lessons are 30 minutes, once or more a week, and they're integrated right into the morning meeting, the beginning part of the day, where they're learning. The lessons are designed to support things from self-awareness, relationship building, problem solving, emotional identification and regulation, really important skills. The teacher can follow the scope and sequence or pull lessons as needed based on the needs of the class, which is great. And it's really nice. They always leave a one seat open for a guest that comes in.
I got to be the guest Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Really inviting. And so it's got a great flow to it. They gather, class gathers, introduce the topic, regulating emotions, for example. There's an interactive component where there's some role playing, which gets interesting to watch, if you saw that, but there's always an opportunity to share with each other. And then the important thing is the reflection at the end. The students reflect and then have the opportunity to apply with feedback as they move forward. So that's work that's ongoing that we'll continue to focus on for next year. In terms of MTSS support, some kids we know, just like with reading, need something a little bit more, need a double dose. And then we really bring in our the experts, the mental health team. So we piloted something this year whereby we're using our data to identify and build that out. We're looking for a screening tool that works really well at getting us the data we need. But we also have teachers who are our experts. They're with the students all day, who now have an opportunity to attend an open office hour with our mental health team, so they can go raise a concern about a student and have that opportunity to talk with the mental health teams, our school psychologists, our guidance counselors, our BCBA, the administrative team as well. Engage in a discourse and hopefully leave with some strategies and tools that they can use right away. That's the most important thing to a teacher, is what can I use right away to help support this kid? So that's working well. We're looking forward to building that up next year as well. And then I guess lastly, just touching upon objective 4, the innovative environment. We're all doing something a little bit different in terms of building and a facility and our campuses. We are excited to be moving into phase 2 of our playground project. I feel like this has been a project that I've been working on for 3 years, which has been great and a lot of fun. And we're also looking forward to tying a ribbon on it. So phase 2 bids are due, I think, next Friday. And we're looking forward to hopefully breaking ground and finishing that up at some point this summer, early fall. And this is an area too, just in terms of innovation. We've got our swings and our climbing structures and the monkey bars and all that great stuff. A climber that's very, very tall, if you haven't seen it yet. The kids are really enjoying it, but that's not for all kids. Some kids just like to be out in nature, exploring and engaging in imaginative play. So this, I think this fits the bill for that. I'll say shout out to Brian for the collaboration with Carlisle. We modeled a lot of what we did after what you guys did. It was really helpful. We're excited to bring that to a close and see the benefits for generations to come. Our green space will be open next year. Our soccer fields will be open. And what's the last facility project? Oh yeah, we're rebuilding.
Oh, the fire, yeah.
We're rebuilding the 94 wing.
Right, just the fire. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was not a great call. Monday evening, first it was Mario, our head custodian, and then Ron Holsinger, SRO. So those are not 2 calls you want to get back to back.
And then the superintendent.
So, it was amazing. As we were there, we called, about 100 staff members, Lori, together the next day. Developed a plan within an hour or less. And then for the rest of the day, watched 100 staff members moving 10 classrooms, 8 to 10 classrooms.
Pretty extraordinary.
It was a sight to behold. So we talk about community and support and teamwork is the very definition of that.
For sure. Thank you, Justin.
Having more?
So we agreed we would try to be concise, and I don't think you got the memo.
If you notice, he always goes last.
We make him go last, yeah, cause he's hard to follow.
Alright, well, I am gonna miss you, I'm gonna miss all of you, thank you for the opportunity of speaking tonight. It's my honor to talk to you about our strategic goal number 3, an inclusive culture. And I'm gonna highlight the work that staff is doing together within building, across building, and from senior leadership to impact the ability of our teachers to do their best work. And when our teachers can do their best work, students benefit, right? So first, the work of the DEIB leadership, which Andrew Nemici, working very closely in each of our buildings, working with our leadership teams. So our leadership teams are overlapping with our DEIB leads to ensure that we are having cultural competency as a thread that is woven through our day and is present, especially when we have times of crisis. So this past year, when we had times of crisis, when we were doubling down on our work to combat anti-Semitism, the work that occurred as a district was led by the superintendent and by Shelley, by Andrew, but then the work that occurred in the classrooms was driven by the DEIB leads within our leadership teams in each of our buildings. So case in point, when we had Facing History and ourselves in, it was impactful, it was important, it was timely, it was well executed. What we needed to do for elementary school is to take these important issues and make them digestible and ready for staff to use in the moment, right? So our staff always want to do things well. And so we were able to leverage a speaker who Andrew and I had visited. He spoke to us when we went into a conference in Boston, and it was specifically for our elementary grade teachers. And this is where we all came together. Now again, you heard it from Justin before, Dr. Hunter and I, we came in the same year. We were siloed, very much siloed 9 years ago. And the fact that now we can not only have one plan, but have moments in which we need to act with urgency and do so effectively, when we gather all our staff together, I think is a testament to the leadership, but also the work of senior leadership, people like Andrew Nemici, the leadership teams within our building to work again, dovetailing all that work. We meet regularly with across buildings as the DEIB leadership team. Another area that I'd like to stress is the work that our new special education administrative teams are doing is phenomenal. In the past, everyone did their very best. We have earnest, hardworking, caring, compassionate, professional staff that do their very best. But boy, when you put others, if you add additional members of the staff who help facilitate and structure purposeful conversations, kids benefit. So the transitions that have been occurring this year, right, before they were good, now they're exceptional. Right? Where every child, as we say every single day, every child is known as an individual and as a learner. And it's difficult to give our children up to the next school. It always is. No matter how well it's being done, we feel even better today for the work that those people are doing, because those students are that much better prepared for success in the next step. Right? And then we recognize with that comes the confidence that the parents have, right? And the parents' anxiety is lessened. So when parents are feeling good about things, the kids will feel good about things, which and then engenders greater depth of relationship and trust between home and school. So kudos to and thank you for, that was a support, that was a budget add that you made. Thank you, it's paying dividends. Also want to say that the work that the staff has already done to welcome support and acclimate Stephanie. So Stephanie has already been in, and the staff is looking forward to working with her. Today, long day, right? We met once before, then today Stephanie met with staff starting at, staff at like 11, but she reached out to the PTG to meet with the PTG today, right? So masterful work on Stephanie's part, and part of our plan to ensure the greatest opportunity for success of Stephanie. Everyone is 100% confident she's going to be a great lead of Willard. Today we were on the bus. You know, Stephanie knows the importance of greeting each child in the morning and saying goodbye every afternoon, right? So we get on the bus, and as we do, and I said to my friends on the bus, "Hey, my friends, I'd like to introduce you. This is Miss Nephew," from the back of the bus. No, I said, "No, this is your new principal." Back of the bus, kids goes, "Hey, Miss Nephew, how you doing?" He was on her interview committee, and he was beaming with pride. Right? So again, it's not everywhere where you have constituencies that truly are heard and valued. So it's a very difficult interview process. We all know, we've all done it. But boy, oh boy, when the kids feel valued, and the staff feel valued, and the parents feel valued, and this, right? Well done, and so I'm quite confident that things are going to move forward very well and very well supported for Stephanie as she moves. The work that the Concord Ed Fund was trumpeting today, right? We benefited at Willard. We're going to have a Willard garden after all these years, right? Which is spectacular. There's a garden at Alcott and Thoreau. And why is it so important? Now we've always tapped into our bird watches. We've done our works, as you know, in the curriculum in kindergarten, looking at trees and seasons, all the rest. But to have a garden, think about the work that you've done where you're learning something and it doesn't end when the lesson's over, right? That's great teaching, that's great learning. It's the motivation for you to continue to learn. So within EL, as Naomi referenced, when we have an outdoor classroom like the garden that we will have, we tap into EL modules that include in kindergarten trees and weather. In first grade, birds need our help. In second grade, the secret life of plants and pollinators. And in third grade, water usage, right? So it's real life application of what they're learning, high quality texts that they're accessing, and ready to demonstrate mastery in many different means, one of which can be within the garden setting. So we're very excited by all of that. One bit that we've all been working on is our playground. I'll end with that. One of the action items moving forward will be to begin the process of reconsidering what's out there, accessibility for all, right? And it's getting older, it's 17 years, right? As we know, that things start to go at some point. And just as our chiller went this spring, which was fine, everyone's rallying to it.
That means no AC. Surprised Brian and Katie didn't bring up the lack of HVAC there too.
But I tell you, it takes the sense of community and mutual willingness to persevere, right? I won't ask anyone whether they had AC in their schools when they were children.
Yes.
This guy didn't, on balmy Long Island, right? Long Island, so talking.
Wyandanch.
All right, right around the corner, yeah. So we'd turn our pillows over at night, right? Right, when it was hot. So the building is super well maintained. And one last call out, I'm doing a little bit of you right now, just running on. Is the support.
Leaving these two to the end was a big mistake.
I understood the assignment, I picked two things and I talked about them.
Just again, the support of all the staff within the building, our facility staff, our drivers, our kitchen staff, right? Every single day, every single one of them has a meaningful impact on all of our students. And it's not every district that still retains those important people. Right? So kudos to all of you and gratitude to all of you for having this culture and this environment where that's important because it is important, and it is important for teaching and learning and the success of our students. So thank you. I guess questions?
Yeah, let's just maybe a couple questions.
See, we could have more than that.
One per
You may have
person.
mentioned this while I took a bio break, but in case you did not. I think the goal across the DEIB goals was hiring and retaining, I think 20% of staff by 2025. Are we tracking that? Did we meet it, or challenges meeting it?
We do track it, for sure. Did we meet it? What I'm finding is the tracking gets complicated when attrition happens for reasons that aren't about us. It's we're relocating or whatever. So we're still mastering the data tracking. They're having the same challenge. We were riffing people, and so the hiring piece is a different discussion this year.
But
So
I will, this is I guess a good challenge, but we don't have much, since we set that goal, we've had very little turnover. Like this year is the most, so I have 2 people who are retiring, it's the most turnover I've had in I wanna say 3 years, and because of
they took
rifts, I
retirements.
didn't actually post for those positions because people were riffed out, well, not riffed, but there was movement in the district. It's a good, not having really high retention is a good problem to have, but it's we're not, I haven't posted for a new teaching position in a couple of years.
So that was just teachers, right? Or was it that goal?
Yeah, I mean, we also, yeah.
It's a good question, Sandeep, and we post a lot of all of our positions on School Spring, that's our hiring platform. And I'm just having a conversation with Andrew and Amici, you know, how do we broaden that? Cause not everyone uses that. So Andrew has a lot of ideas and is creative about spreading and broadening the candidate pool.
And we do use 2 other networks that Andrew has identified that has generated leads that of diverse candidates.
Drew, did you have a question?
I do have one question, which is the plans being so similar belie the unique strengths of each of your schools and your own leadership. So I was actually wondering if you would be so kind and generous as to share if there is anything from one another, and be succinct as possible, that you admire most and wish you could acquire from their culture or operations at their school. You know each other so well, and sometimes you can see each other's superpowers better than even your own. So I'm curious if there are things you admire about one another, or their schools or how they operate, that you wish you could absorb.
I can start.
Please.
Great question. I think there's so many things that I could say. I feel like I learned so much from, well, even sitting here, I was like, oh, office hours for my mental health staff, like that's a really great idea. But I think in terms of the leadership style, or I think Matt is a phenomenal storyteller, and I think that's really important in this role. And you know, I think that's something that I would aspire to. A little more detail oriented and get it done. And obviously I took my 2 points and spoke to them, and they were like, I followed, I'm really good at following directions.
No one they need to look at it.
But I think the storytelling aspect is actually really important in this job, and it's something that I really appreciate and will miss, even if it's late and you talked for a long time.
It's a great question, Drew, and about each of them. I sometimes go from A to B without, Laura, you can attest this, sometimes without thinking about all the things in between. And Naomi is great about slowing down and asking all of the important questions. In the moment, it's like, sometimes come on, but in the end, it
Oh boy,
Yeah,
I am not letting
everyone
you
can
ask
score me on
any
that
more
one.
questions. It's getting out of hand.
Someone,
the plan is always better off, the students are always better off as a result of your thoughtfulness. And Matt coming in has been such a tremendous mentor. Every classroom, every day.
I would echo, what I admire most about Naomi is her humanity. That in a complex world with lots of needs, she always sees the student, And then we'll develop an action plan that is so thoughtful with deliverables that she sticks to, right, and has great success.
It's a really, really nice question.
And then Justin is just a lifeblood of the school. When you're with him in the building, the staff brighten when he arrives. The kids all know him. He knows the curriculum in and out. He has an effervescence and a positivity that is second to none. So, I think we probably complemented each other, and I'm quite confident that Stephanie will jump right in and just be such a great new member of this team. This team will continue to thrive with Stephanie's inclusion. As we say, a great question before, and I should have, whenever we interview for someone, we always say, who will make us better? Who will make us better? So to replace me, right, doesn't make the district better. It's to see where my gaps are and what we need more of. And in Stephanie, now you have someone who fills my gaps and makes this team better. So I'm really excited for her to come in. We look forward to finishing out the year very strongly. But thanks for your question, Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will finish it up by saying thank you so much for coming. We really love having you. This is my favorite meeting of the year, because we get to see you interact with each other. And I've been around for a long time, and the schools were not always this cohesive at the elementary level. And it was like, oh, buy a house at this school because your kid will learn to read at this school. That is no longer the case. So I really appreciate the collaboration between the three schools, and then even pre-K to 12, like watching all of that in the leadership team. I mean, this is something that it's a bird's eye view into our schools every single day. We wish you the best of luck with Teddy, Matt. Congratulations, enjoy retirement. We welcome Stephanie.
Thank you so
and
much.
thank you, Justin, Naomi. It's really great.
Thanks, Tracy.
Yeah,
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
You also.
Yeah, good opportunity.
All right, moving on, so we've got 5 more things that we wanna
Oh my gosh.
talk through tonight, so
And exec session.
and
Real
exec
quick.
session.
We've got 3.5 hours.
Handbook,
Yeah, I think we can do this at a high level because there's
Yeah.
not that many changes. I was gonna project, but
Thank you.
Take care.
thanks guys,
Thank
thank you.
you.
the only thing I'd ask you, and we're not voting tonight, so you have time to look at it, we tried to really call out what was different. Logistical stuff that is clear. We have to align the policies that are in here, the ones that are in here that are changing with the DOJ piece next week. So those are just partnered up. And then really the piece to look at is the AI piece, which Shelley gets all credit for, and the committee she's been working with, that we really wanted some breadth and depth to at least a starting point for AI, which I don't think I need to go through tonight, but you could see that's one of our major areas of change this coming year.
Will we be having a sort of in-depth discussion on the changes at our second read, or are we gonna do that now?
Were there particular ones that you wanna have a in-depth conversation on?
I think Sandy, you and I had questions about ACR, AC, and JICK.
Those
They first
policies
came
are
out.
on the next agenda for the 16th.
Oh, but
Yeah,
they
so
were
just-
in the,
They were in the packet. We talked to it,
Yeah.
and they were ACR and JICK were.
Yeah, so just to clarify,
Yeah.
we had the first reading on those in May. We will be voting on those at the June 16th meeting. The handbook will reference what we
Yeah,
approve on June
The
16th.
order got tricky, yeah.
Yeah. And if you recall, like we had said in May, we're going to adopt the DOJ recommendations to make us compliant and then make sure that we're continuing that conversation.
So
In the new school
the
year.
question was what, are we having that discussion now, or are we gonna have it on the 16th? That was my question.
We're not gonna have it tonight. We'll have the second read on the 16th, so.
Everything just has to align, that's why this is
And so we'll vote the
referencing,
policies on the 16th
and the handbook,
before we vote the handbook.
Yes.
technically, yes.
Technically, yes, yeah,
Mhm.
because then you'll have the policies and
Mhm.
the handbook and then.
Yep. And between now and then, I'm gonna get you, Brian and Katie are working on, there's a few CCHS specific things that we need to in consolidating the book a couple of years ago, there's a few CCS, EHS things we need to reference that they're pulling together this week.
Did you have edits that you sent through?
No, I didn't have edits, but I saw that they were up and they were in the packet, I thought we were gonna discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize they made it into the packet, I think. don't know.
Yeah, I think
They're on
they-
next week's
they're on the
agenda.
next agenda.
Yeah.
Cause we were gonna do one meeting with all of this in it, and clearly this meeting needed to be split into two, which is,
Brought our
yeah.
sleeping
And
bags.
so all the
Yeah.
policies and a few more town things will be on the next meeting.
Anything else with the handbook for right now? Alright, we'll move on then to bias working group updates.
So we haven't had a meeting since the last update that I gave, but we're in the closing stages of that working group. We're presenting to the select board on the 22nd. We have a meeting coming up next week. And it's just to put the finishing touches on the presentation that we're gonna make to the site.
Question for you, is there, I know when Paul presented, the chair presented to the DEI commission, it sort of as an aside that there was going to be a hearing, formal hearing, is there anything for the community?
I did not know that happened, so I did not attend the DEI commission meeting.
He had mentioned that then, and I guess the other point I would wanna make, since March, when we've had this item, as Sandy pointed out, this body is going to cease to exist on June 22nd.
Yep.
But our issues of bias and hopefully they'll diminish, but they're not going to go away. Again, I bring up that we should consider updating the focus to look at what's going on in our school campuses and perhaps change the item name to make certain that we hold this to talk about bias climate across our campuses going forward.
Yep,
I appreciate
heard
that,
you say
Michael.
that.
I agree. I think it would be helpful to continue talking about it.
So, you know, I've been asking since March and I'd like to have some determination on it.
I hear you, I don't have any immediate determination at this point, but
Well, this is something that we could discuss as a committee.
do you wanna, I'm wondering as we are putting together our, as we're working over the course of the summer and working through goals, if
I don't know
We'll talk
that it
about it then.
necessarily has to be a goal, I'm asking for something to be a standing item for us to discuss, a standing item in our agendas going forward, that's what I've been asking since March.
Can I share my thoughts on it?
Yeah.
Things on the agenda, I believe should be items that we discuss and then we move forward to the next one. As you rightly pointed out, I don't think these are issues we'll ever get done addressing. So I don't, again, if it's a, let's say, quarterly or maybe semi-annual update on climate and culture, we'll afford it, but a standing item every week just to say, well, we're still tracking this, I don't necessarily see the value in it.
Well, there are other things other than ordinary business meetings, Sandy, that could be vehicles for getting into this topic as well. Could be a working group, could be a forum, could be something maybe outside of an ordinary business meeting. Is that what you're getting at, where it would have a sort of time-bound focus where we would open in a more fulsome way than perhaps 10 minutes can on a bi-weekly basis would even begin to broach, which I agree with you. We wanna make progress, but how do we make progress in the best way possible? Is that sort of
No,
like having it be a forever thing is hard, I acknowledge, but also having it be a net never is also hard. Hard to make progress.
I also
That's
think,
not what I said. I said,
Yeah.
I think let's have.
Oh, sorry, I
updates.
misunderstood you.
I said let's have periodic updates instead of every meeting.
similar to how we
our
look at
regional
goals.
meetings, since we had made a point to make this something at the regional, so it'd be at our regional meetings. And also, if I look at what our agreement was we're supposed to be assessing our incidence of bias timely, at least over the next 12 months to June of 2027. That's part of the agreement that we signed. Is that correct?
No, I'm the one who has to do that. I've been charged with that by the DOJ to do that.
And we shouldn't?
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that I'm the official reviewer
Agreed.
of the incidents
So-
because I have
so-
access to the
Agreed.
private information.
Agreed, and again, we're not necessarily in private information. This is just sort of, again, a request to look at what's happening in across our campuses over time, as suggested in our DOJ agreement, and something I've been asking since March.
So, and I do think it's a good idea to do a periodic review. I agree with you, Sandeep. I can't think of an item on our agenda in the past few years that we've had on every single agenda, except for this one, because you requested it and I made the commitment for the rest of this year to put the hate and bias working group on. And now I think that, maybe the chairs will discuss it together and figure out how we move forward and what, should it be every meeting? Should it be quarterly? How we're gonna do that. So maybe that's for you guys to decide over the summer.
Yeah, that's good feedback. I think, yeah, if we do it every meeting, it might feel perfunctory and
It'll feel performative.
Hmm?
It'll feel performative.
So
Doesn't have to be performative unless we look at it that way.
Now, if we do something like that, it'll feel like us checking the box saying we're doing this, things are done, right?
No.
My kids are still in the schools, they have to deal with these issues every day, right? So let's take tangible steps, tangible actions, instead of putting something on the agenda and saying our problem's done. We spoke about it, let's move on.
Yeah, we definitely don't wanna do that. I don't think anyone's
That wasn't
proposing
the
that.
implication at all.
Definitely not
No,
saying.
that is what will happen if we keep doing it
That's not the implication at all.
We nothing happened in the last 2 weeks, last
Maybe,
month.
I think we're down a rabbit hole, which is like, I'm curious in your estimation, what is the thing that would be most productive to have happen? You say
I stated that.
regular updates, but updates from the administration to us. But is there something more we could do than simply listen?
Talk to the community.
Yeah. Well, there we go, maybe
should
there's
do that.
something, well, that would be something like a forum perhaps.
But well, that's a different discussion.
Yeah, for sure, it's a different discussion, but
From the hate and bias discussion.
Is your hate and bias working group, do they have a recommendation coming out on how to disseminate information?
Yes, so I mean, that'll be the dashboard.
The dashboard,
That will present on the 22nd.
okay.
And again, that speaks to the town, it does not speak to what's happening in our
I was
campus.
just
Right,
asking.
we're going back to the agenda item.
Right.
And I do think, we do have to be careful of how much we're dipping into the operations of the schools, because, if we really look into it, we have one employee, and that is our superintendent, right? And so I think that the operations of the schools happens amongst, as we listened tonight, the leadership team, and all of them talked about, belonging and culture and performance, like we're hearing all of that through our administrators. So I just think we need to be careful about, like, we may wanna talk about it, but it might not be our role to actually talk about it every meeting. And I have noted the select board has, they started with having anti-Semitism on every single agenda, and that's now moved off of the agenda. So, I just think we have to be careful, and I think it's for the chairs to decide how often, and what we're looking to hear. Cause it is our role as school committee to listen to what's going on in our campuses. But we
Yes.
don't have a role in what to do about what's happening in our campuses as a committee.
I think this is a nuanced problem, which is about the semi-permeable membrane between the campuses and the community, which is where we sit. Like, we are in this unique third space as a committee and as elected officials. And for sure, we have to enable and empower the administration to kick butt. And I think we have a fiduciary responsibility to the community as well, to really create the most vibrant atmosphere for the students. And it's a tricky one, it's really tricky, I don't know the answers, but I do know a performative perfunctory thing is not it, I concur. And putting it all on Laurie's shoulders while you have strong shoulders, Laurie, is also not fully it. I think there's something we need to absorb responsibility for ourselves. And I don't know what that is, but I think it would be a worthwhile discussion among this group to figure out what that could be. And perhaps the answer is we don't know, or not now. But I would welcome that discussion together. I think it would be fruitful.
Okay. I wanna table it here. I wanna give this some thought. I do like the idea of chatting with Sandeep as the chair and let me just think about that.
By all means, it's not gonna happen in the next meeting, that's for sure.
Most likely not. Let's move on though to technology use in schools.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you some updates on the work I've been doing and the team has been doing, and it's in its infancy, but the plan is evolving. So there's, I think, two big buckets that we're growing here, much because we had already started the path and partly because we hear the community interest. So Shelley's gonna run a district technology committee next year, which is the staff side of the house, just like she's doing math or any review work that she needs to do. That'll answer the questions that you've been hearing, we'll do the data work. I'm not promising exactly what I can have for you in the fall, we might need teachers here to really do it, so we're gonna do what we can over the summer. The second bucket is to meet the need to, I guess sort of what you just described, like bridge the community and the schools. And I think for me, one of the things I've been craving over the last couple of months as this topic has come up is just making sure that we're talking from the facts. So, we're gonna create a technology committee that is just like the sustainability committee or the anti-Semitism coalition. Those have been very effective forums for us with a mixed representation, not a huge group, mixed representation of parents, teachers, students, administrators, at least a school committee rep usually, where we really just have these in-depth discussions about what we're doing and what we're all envisioning, and that becomes the feedback loop as we all build those visions. And it's been very effective in a number of situations. So I've committed to that a few times next year. I was able to meet with the leads of the Intentional Technology Coalition, still getting their name down. Monday with Shelley and Angel and Matt came over, and we agree on a lot of things. Like, just really important to keep saying that we have the same goals, the same hopes and desire for balance, and we want to partner. So I think the third leg of that is just continuing that leadership conversation across platforms with them. And it was a great start the other day. So we're gonna get this all packaged into a master plan. It will be some of the things that have been said in public and the concerns and questions the community has, but and for us, the AI is still the driving force. Because we put a little bit in the handbook doesn't mean we feel like we have this figured out at all. And I don't know if there is a place to get figured out, but we're not really comfortable with where we are. The teachers aren't comfortable, the kids are looking for direction. So we wanna really hone in on that. So that's just a first place. You'll hear a lot more as the summer and the fall comes with where that's all gonna go. It'll certainly be in my goals. And I think trying to evolve all of that into a package is the goal.
And were they receptive to the group, the intentional technology group, receptive to meeting a few times a year?
Oh, very,
Great.
very.
Great, okay.
Lori, could I add something more on your plate? So the technology and the AI policies around it. I think those need to be revisited at a lot more rapid rate.
Sure.
And anything else.
Yes, totally. Yeah, so we'll put that on the list of the package. Yeah. Yep. I almost feel like they've written in a Google Doc, you can change all the time because it's moving so fast.
It is, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the brief update, a lot more to come.
Thank you. Did anyone have any follow-on questions on that?
Good. Too many to fit in the time allotted.
I'll take that as a no. Non-union increases?
Yeah, so You wanna?
We just need to vote this.
You just need to vote the 3% for all non-union raises that you've discussed
That
in
we've
executive
discussed.
session.
So I'm just gonna formally make a motion if is that okay with you? If I just make the motion and then we've discussion. So I move that we approve 3% COLA for all non-union personnel and market adjustments as discussed.
I'll second.
Alright. Discussion.
No, it's one number, but you guys put a lot of work into getting to
Yeah.
that, so thank you.
Yeah, that's a very good way to say it, Andrew.
Alright,
And this is for both districts,
Oh, so we have to vote for both.
for both, yeah.
okay. All in favor?
I for both.
For both.
It's
It
always so
sounds
awkward.
really awkward, but
It's better when it's a roll call vote, I have to say. I think that was,
You can decide to do a roll call.
not for this, not at 8:59.
no.
If you watch the May Carlisle School Committee, you'll see when I did do a roll call in person. You don't take that lightly. Amenities building?
I'm gonna throw this to Bob, he just wants to give you a status update on where the project is.
We're working with Gale Associates, the design engineering firm, to go out to bid. It's been posted in the required state website, and so bids will be due July 17th. There's, part of that is because there's filed sub bids because some of the work of subcontractors will be more than 25,000, so you're required to have filed sub bids, and then you have to wait for the contractors to see that information incorporated into their bids. So July 17th would be the date. At the same time, I'm also conducting it's called an RFS, it's specifically for OPMs, request for services. Our retired facilities director had been serving in this role, former facilities director Russ Hughes. He kind of gracefully stayed on for a year after he retired, but it's gone on now and he's ready to disconnect from the district. So it was kind of doing a favor to extend it, but the long timeline it took to get it approved, he needs to stop now. We're going out to do this RFS to select a OPM firm that'll just help with the last phase of the project. Russ helped with the design portion of the project, and so they'll help with the construction portion. That's required for projects over $1.5 million. So it's more cost effective to do it with a district employee, but at this point in time, we feel like at this point in the project, it'll be a little bit less costly since the last phase, and we'll get some good companies to apply. So that's it. I think we're in decent shape. I mean, we'll be starting the work in the summer, and we expect it to be to go through the winter and hopefully be, and then we expect it to be done in the spring.
So is there anything you're gonna need from the school committee over the summer as you're getting the bids in?
We typically ask the school committee to approve the bid award. I can check to see through our policies if it's allowed for you to designate that to us.
You
Usually
should also just call a quick meeting.
Oh, we can do it in the summer.
I think I'd rather do that just so
Okay.
we have a chance to ask any questions.
And I will need you to approve the OPM. Unfortunately, that timing is not gonna be great. It'll probably be a virtual meeting and
Okay.
Can we do both at the same time, do you think?
no.
No, okay.
Right.
And you won't have that before our June 16th meeting?
I need to think about whether I could do it at the same time because the OPM probably could wait for us to award the construction. I can think about that. I'm not sure. I need to figure out whether that's allowed.
Okay.
We'll try to do it if it's possible.
I mean, if it's calling a 5-minute meeting in July, like
it's
I will do it based on the 3 years leading up to this, so
Yeah.
I'll be for
Keep
sure.
cameras off, right? Yeah, but we also have the Thorough Nature Space, well, that's Concord Public Schools. So there are some projects that we typically would bring to you if they're formal bids for approval.
Okay.
Concord Nature Space is another one that's not on the agenda.
Just
Yeah, we're just gonna have
let us
to
know and
let you know when we need
Yeah.
to bring you in. Zoom
We
makes
will,
it really
yeah.
doable.
Exactly. Any amenities building questions? Right,
Thank you.
Exciting.
yes, good to have all those votes passed and move on to the next piece.
Oh yeah, it did pass in Carlisle.
It passed, and I will say it passed unanimously, cause it was at that point in town meeting where I had voice vote, nobody said nay, so. I bet if it was clickers, it would have been different, but we were just like,
Yeah,
10 o'clock, we gotta wrap this up.
It's the cell phone vote Concord the same way.
One vote.
I know, it's my fault.
Alright, can I have a motion to move into executive session?
Oh, shoot.
Okay, I move, oh, go ahead.
No,
You have it, I can't
I
read it,
move
go ahead.
that the Concord School Committee and the Concord-Carlisle Regional School Committee enter into executive session under purpose 3 of open meeting law to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the K-12 administrative assistants, K-12 maintenance, and the CTA ESPs.
1 second.
Wonderful, any discussion? Otherwise, this is a roll call vote.
Hurcheck, aye.
Kelleher, aye.
Maliatsi, aye.
Morano, aye.
Watterson, aye.
Williams, I.
Alright, thank you, everyone.